It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff, Stacy, and Ant are all here. We'll talk about ChatGPT coming to Bing. Google's response, bring back Larry and Sergey. We'll also talk about BuzzFeed using ChatGPT to generate content, the endless Seinfeld stream, and is Elon the right guy to run Twitter? At least one founder says, I don't think so. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 701, recorded Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. Bring me a leaf blower. This Week in Google is brought to you by Miro. Miro is your team's visual platform to connect, collaborate, and create together. Tap into a way to map processes, systems, and plans with the whole team. Get your first 3 boards for free to start creating your best work yet at Miro.com/podcast. And by 8 Sleep. Good sleep is the ultimate game changer, and the pod cover is the ultimate sleep machine. Go to 8sleep.com/twit to check out the pod cover and save $150 at checkout. 8 Sleep currently ships within the U.S., Canada, the U.K., and select countries in the EU, plus Australia. Thanks for listening to this show. As an ad-supported network, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our qualified audience. Are you ready to grow your business? Reach out to advertise@twit.tv and launch your campaign now. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show we cover the latest news from Google, Googleverse, the Twitterverse, the Facebookverse, the inverse and the obverse, and the detourverse. It's Stacy Higginbotham from the IoTverse. Hello, Stacy.
Hello, y'all.
Stacy on IoT.com, the IoT podcast. Good to have you here. Jeff Jarvis is also here. He is the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Hello, Jeff.
Hello. What kind of song were you going to commission? I can't remember what you said we needed to have.
Oh, yeah. We wanted a like one of them sea shanties.
Sea shanty.
Yeah. There once was a journalism professor named, I don't know. We have to maybe ask ChatGPT to write it. Also here.
To write one. Yeah, that'd be a good job.
It's weird. We watched, before the show began, just about 5 minutes of that weird Seinfeld nonstop show about nothing on Twitch created by an AI. And an interesting thing happened to my brain. I'm a little disoriented. Like VR disoriented. Like nothing seems real. Ant Pruitt's also here from Hands On Photography, twit.tv/shop. Do you not feel that, Ant?
Sir, no. What I feel is I think we're all safe as content creators.
Yeah.
It's the competition.
Well, I feel like it could have been better. I do. I feel like it could have been better.
You want to show a little bit of it or not?
Should I? All right.
No.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Sure.
Stacy says we've wasted enough time.
Nope. Go ahead.
We didn't do it
This is at least for the show, yeah.
I think it's worthy discussion.
It's so bad.
So again, it's AI is writing an endless Seinfeld. It's not called Seinfeld. It's called like the
Watch Me Forever. Yeah, Nothing Forever.
But I thought, this would be interesting. This is a good idea, right? Because Seinfeld has structured gags. You can figure it out, Garrett. But you'll see.
We're getting a Samsung ad for their new phone, which we saw this morning thanks to Jason Howell of the Samsung Unpacked. I decided not to go because everything had been leaked already. There was nothing to say about the new phone. I thought, well, this is just a pep rally now. It's not a reveal.
They needed a pep rally after those earnings.
Yeah, all of them. All of the tech industry does. Shot. Here we are in
throw it in the garbage can
in Seinfeld's home.
Trash can. Holy cow.
Look at that gate.
Done something. Well, no. I didn't want to get involved in this situation.
I don't know what to make of that.
Picking up a banana peel and walking away with it.
That's how I'm going to sit on the couch.
Look how she's sitting on the stool.
You know what that guy was up to? He was probably trying to get some free garbage. You know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
This is so bad.
It's awful.
It's so bad. But it could be so. The funny thing is,
awful.
I don't think they're trying because they could use real Seinfeld voices. We certainly have the capability of doing that. We've come so far. This is like what we thought what AI was in 1982.
1986 AI.
Yeah, it's like. Oh. Meanwhile, there's some real AI going on.
Well, hold on though. If you think about it, that's performing like, I don't know, 4D AI. They're creating the content. They're generating the imagery. They're also doing some vocal characterizations. So maybe a lesson here is if AI is good at doing one-dimensional AI, but when you move it to all the dimensions, it sucks.
I think it could be actually a lot better. In fact, we are in the AI explosion, right now, the Cambrian explosion of AI. Rumor today from both Bloomberg and The Information that ChatGPT is about to be in the new version, ChatGPT-4, is about to be integrated into Microsoft's Bing search. And this will happen in the next few weeks. Microsoft, we've mentioned before, is a big investor in OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, and they just put in another $10 billion. And initially the deal was to get ChatGPT in Office, but now the news is we're going to start seeing ChatGPT in Bing, and it won't be the ChatGPT we're used to. It's the new ChatGPT, and this actually addresses your concern, Stacey, because this thing is a monster. Microsoft, in order to do this, built a new supercomputer, a massive supercomputer. Let me see if I can find the stats for it. Huge amount of storage, huge amount of processors.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear the processing power.
Yeah, this is Reed Albergati writing. Reed, didn't he write for GigaHome? I feel like he did.
He didn't. He used to write for The Information.
Information. Okay, he's now at Semaphore, which is a new publication. So I think he had the stats. Let me see here. In May 2020, a couple of years ago, Microsoft says it built one of the top 5 publicly disclosed supercomputers in the world in partnership with and exclusively for OpenAI. The computer was going to be used to train extremely large AI models. 285,000 CPUs, 10,000 GPUs, 400 gigabits per second of network connectivity. But, and this is to answer what you were saying about, it's a lot to do to write the script and do the voices. Oh, that's the whole point of this, is that you could do all this stuff in real time. And not only that, unlike the current ChatGPT-3, you could be constantly updated. And that's what makes it useful in search terms.
Aha.
Not only will it be constantly spidering the web for new information, but every query goes into it. Every interaction with you goes into it.
But will it be sensitive to fact, as we talked about last week?
And that's obviously a big issue.
How do you say that so quickly? Because now it's just as a word predictor. How do we know that it will know fact from unfact?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a mistake to put an AI into search if it doesn't actually give you accurate factual information. But I think it will. I think that's one of the things ChatGPT will do. But according to Reed, every ChatGPT answer now has a thumbs up and thumbs down. You can write the ideal answer. And so this will all be incorporated into ChatGPT-4 and Bing so that we'll have feedback. I've shown you several times this Neva chat search engine. And it makes itself accurate because it is only summarizing published information from reliable sources. And I presume that's what they would do with Bing, right? So you're not just making up stuff out of whole cloth, but you're saying, well, Wikipedia, Microsoft, and Semaphore say this with footnotes and everything. I think that's going to be possibly.
So anyway. I just asked ChatGPT to tell a joke in the style about AI in the style of Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I'm not so critical of the show now. The answer was, why did the AI cross the road to get to the other side of the data set?
Yeah. Never mind.
I said, you could do better than that. And it said, okay, here's another one. Why did the AI refuse to do the dishes? Because it was afraid of doing a deep learning experience.
Yeah, no, this is just ChatGPT. That's a toy. What you're using is a toy. I
know, but
I think what we're talking about here is going to be a different thing entirely. I'm hoping it will be. Obviously, it won't. And this is what's scaring the hell out of Google right now. In fact, the side-by-side story is Google's testing a ChatGPT-like chatbot called Apprentice Bard, which is not a great name.
Well, I think it's a code name, not a brand name.
Okay. It's using Lambda, that's the one that Brent Lemoyne said was sentient. They're also testing, this is according to Jennifer Elias for CNBC, new search page designs that integrate the chat technology. This is going to happen very quickly. And more employees have been asked to test this internally. That's probably how she's getting the story.
The gin.
Yes. The Alphabet company is working on a project under its cloud unit called Atlas, which is a code red effort to respond to ChatGPT. There's also Apprentice Bard, so that's another one. Their employees can ask questions and get detailed answers. I also heard that Google has invited Larry and Sergey back to help them with this.
And Sergey just put in his first code in years. I put in that in the rundown.
It's fascinating.
First code request. What does that mean, by the way, a code request?
A request or a commit?
It said just filed his first code request in years.
That sounds like a mistranslation of what he did.
Sure does.
Yeah.
That's not sure.
File his first request and access. Oh, request to access code.
I see.
So he wanted to see.
He
wanted, because this stuff's not on GitHub. You have to actually say, hey, can I look at that Lambda code? Two sources said, this is Forbes. I should always say who's writing. Forbes staff.
It's staff members, so that's
okay.
better.
Richard Neva and Alex Conrad say. Two sources said the request was related to Lambda. There's that name again. Google's natural language chatbot. Brin filed a CL, short for change list, to gain access to the data that trains Lambda. It was a 2-line change to a configuration file just to add his name to the code. Several dozen engineers gave the request LGTM approval, which means looks good to me. LGTM. I need a rubber stamp that says LGTM. That's good.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea.
Some of the approvals came from workers outside the team, seemingly eager just to be able to say they gave code review approval to Sergey Brin.
Sounds like something at Twitter.
Yeah, well,
yeah. They need to print out his code and show it to.
It's weird. Do you think Larry and Sergey are still geniuses that could come in and? In this
I'm sure they're still geniuses, but I got a hunch they don't care.
I don't feel like Sergey has worn shoes in years. I don't.
It's their legacy.
Isn't he working on? He's working on several government initiatives related to AI. Is he?
Is he?
Oh, he is. Didn't know.
Okay,
thank you.
Well, he's a magnate formerly.
Brin's code request also received some snark from Googlers, says Forbes. In response, one person commented, "Fix Google first." Another person wrote, "At least talk to us." A reference to the distance of the co-founders over the last few years. Ow. Some people linked to posts from Google's internal memes forum. Some of the memes showed you and me, Jeff, fighting. No, I'm sorry. Old people fighting. Old people fighting.
Could have been, Leo.
Could have been. Like maybe those two Muppets, right?
Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf.
I
don't think this code looks good. Me neither. Looks like a monkey wrote it. Anyway.
And this report, before we want to make sure we mention that Mr. Alvergetti will be on Tech News Weekly this week. Interviewed
to talk about this. Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Reed's great.
Very good. Good get.
Reed's, good get. That's great.
And to hear more about what the plans are for Semaphore, too.
Yeah, I like Semaphore so far. We're quoting from it. That's a good sign. He's got some scoops. It could be, we're leading right into another AI winter. We've been around long enough, you and me, Jeff, to remember, all the excitement over AI. This has happened several times in the past. How it was going to transform everything and it ended up, I can't do anything. Forget it. Can't even make a sandwich.
When was your last AI spring?
Good question.
Marvin Minsky, who was at MIT, probably in the 70s, believe it or not. It was probably the last time we thought AI was going somewhere. Oh, maybe even, no, there was a group, for all I know, they're still doing it. There was a group that was getting people, like, it was like a foundation where thousands of people were typing as fast as they could to get data into the AI. The theory being the more it knew, this is a long time ago. If you thought that, I mean, if you think about it, that was how they did it, to get more data into the AI. And as it turns out, that's kind of what this revolution is, because Stable Diffusion or Mid-Journey, the graphics AIs, ChatGPT, their real skill is looking at a lot of data fast. And that's all because everything's been put in the internet. That's kind of what happened, right?
Well,
to transform this.
No.
No?
The big transforming element was GPUs and massive parallel processing coming down in price. If you look at
because of crypto crash.
No. In 2012, that was our first like visual, like that was when what was it called? Jeff Hinton and his team did a very effective visual, like computer vision algorithm, and it leaps and bounds ahead of everything else. And it was because he had written algorithms that took advantage of relatively inexpensive GPUs. Then what's happened is, yes, the data coming in from the internet, but that's actually been around for a long time. What we've now been able to do is optimize different algorithms for, again, super cheap GPUs. And I mean, this is expensive, but it's not as expensive as it was when it was running on highly proprietary, like Sun systems or whatever.
I do think that the availability of massive data sets without having humans to come in and sit down and type them in probably is also important. We've had
the internet since 1998, and especially things like text. And if you look at, like, I was playing with IBM's,
it's both,
like,
obviously. You need the hardware to process it, but you need access to massive amounts of data. You also need the ability to store these models. I mean,
you also need the fuzzy logic of AI.
Well, see, that's what's interesting.
The fuzzy logic of AI.
I think Stacey and I will agree that it's this hardware stuff, but I don't know if the logic is new or different. Maybe it is.
Well,
I mean,
they're optimized for massively parallel processors that are, again, they're COGS, commercial off-the-shelf goods, right? COGS.
So the last AI spring this is from Towards Data Science, which is a Medium blog about these AI, history of AI from Shaan Ray. The last spring he reports was in the 90s, mid-90s or late 90s. Japanese government unveiled plans to develop a 5th-generation computer to advance. You remember all this? To advance machine learning. AI enthusiasts believed soon computers would be able, this is more than 20 years ago, be able to carry on conversations, translate languages, interpreted pictures. In 1997, Deep Blue defeated Garry Kasparov to become to beat the world champion at chess, to become.
Yeah, but Deep Blue was using massively parallel processors.
I'm not arguing
just
that.
Custom
I agree with
IBM
you.
things.
I agree with you. Anyway, AI funding dried up when the dot-com bubble burst in the early 2000s. Machine learning continued its march thanks to improvement in computer hardware. Stacey. Corporations and governments successfully use machine learning methods in narrow domains. Exponential gains in computer processing power and storage ability allowed companies to store and crunch vast quantities of data for the first time. And so it's a confluence of these things. I don't know if it's
Stacey, I used the wrong term, but remember when Google Translate made a leap in its quality? There was an insight into how it operated that I think was critical too. And I forget what the phrase was.
That's the way they're designing the algorithms.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, when people say things like the fuzzy logic of AI, my inner reporter is like, the hell is that? That is nothing words. They don't mean anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was filling in.
It's all, in other words, it's all
like
of the
a bad
above.
AI would.
It's a
confluence.
Jerry
Seinfeld AI would.
Yeah, it's a confluence of a variety of
Yes,
things.
that's the
Here's a
point.
diagram
Come together.
of AI winters. So the first AI winter was in
defines an AI winter?
73. And that was, because in the 50s, and I'm aware of this because of John McCarthy and Lisp. And, Lisp was developed for AI programming and stuff. And everybody was very excited about this. In 73, people won't forget that. Then in the 80s, boom time, second AI winter in 88. 2012, the deep learning revolution. Yeah, I think that's about right. And then
Yes.
the Mark I Perceptron. This is the first AI spring. You see, there's a giant letter C, the camera taking a picture, and the computer understanding what the letter C is. Wow, we've come a long, long way.
Takes a lot of work to change the world.
Well, but that's the question. So that's what started this conversation. Are we
That's
in
an
a
important
real AI spring, or is this just another AI boom as people get overexcited, as we did about self-driving cars?
Well, what do we think AI is? I mean, has AI had an actual impact on bottom line and product design? 100%. So it's actively contributing today to like real physical products that are in the world and generating returns.
Yeah.
So is it winter because it doesn't, call us up and cook us dinner? I mean, no, it's just, I don't know if it doesn't generate a perfectly mimicked Seinfeld episode.
My point is only that I'm getting very excited about this idea of, for instance, ChatGPT and search, and Google's getting very nervous that Bing might eclipse them. It seems like there is this explosion of AI when you look at, here's another one. So we've seen images, we've seen text. Are you ready for, maybe we aren't ready for AI music? There's some very interesting, but I think not quite convincing yet, examples of AI music. This is a Google project called MusicLM, a model generating high-fidelity music from text descriptions. So just like with the AI image generators, you give it a prompt.
I was hoping for a little Mozart, but no.
Yeah,
I don't
you
have
ready?
a problem with this.
What would you like? Let's see. The main soundtrack. Didn't I play this for you? Did I play this for you last week?
No.
Maybe
sir,
it was on Twit.
You went over this on Twit.
Twit, yeah. Because I remember you were less than impressed. That's right. You were in studio for Twit. That's why. The main soundtrack of an arcade game. So this is the prompt. This is the text prompt. Please, computer, write for me the main soundtrack of an arcade game. It is fast-paced and upbeat with a catchy electric guitar riff. The music is repetitive and easy to remember, but with unexpected sounds like cymbal crashes or drum rolls. You want to hear it?
Sounds like an arcade.
Sounds like
game.
Sonic.
As irritating as every game soundtrack, yes.
It lacks a certain something.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Stop. Please stop it. Yes.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. It lacks something, but a musician, an actual artist, can take that and be inspired from that.
I think it lacks something
together.
exactly the same way as ChatGPT lacks something. Or even Stable Diffusion. Here's a funky piece with a strong danceable beat and a prominent bass line. A catchy melody from a keyboard adds a layer of richness and complexity to the song. This is
Oh, wait, go to the R&B
Sounded like
hip hop
Rocky.
with voice.
Oh, you want to hear that?
That's interesting.
So the voices are just like text in Stable Diffusion. They're Greeked. They're garbled. This is an R&B
Okay, that's what I
hip-hop
assumed.
music piece. There's a male vocal rapping and a female vocal singing in a rap-like manner. The beat is comprised of a piano playing the chords of the tune with an electronic drum backing. The atmosphere of the piece is playful and energetic. This piece could be used in the soundtrack of a high school drama, movie, or TV show. It could also be played at birthday parties or beach parties. Wow, that's an extensive prompt. Let's see what we get.
a little
I
better.
can see Kids Bop going for this.
Right, K-pop or something other.
Sounds Japanese, yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah, it's old white man hip hop. It does a very good job.
And again, it's not great, but
How about Gregorian chant with a drum
spot.
machine? Yeah, you
That's
could.
interesting.
You could do something with it, I guess. I feel like even the most basic composer could start with a better point than that, though. Ant, really? I mean, if
they can, but
Brianna
again,
Wu
let's think
said-
about this.
Brianna Wu said
Go
her
ahead.
sci-fi author husband Frank Wu was stumped. He needed to write a story. He had ChatGPT write the
Right,
outlines, and then
yes.
it gave him the chance to finish
Right.
the story. So I guess in that regard, that's
Gave him some inspiration.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing where I talked to the board at the Marshall Project, which is about justice, criminal justice, last week, and they deal with much of the population they serve as incarcerated people. They have a high level of illiteracy, and I said ChatGPT could be useful to someone saying, I want help telling my story, and prompt writing, telling it what you want it to say.
But don't you need a
Does it
high
do a
level of
good job?
literacy even to start with that?
Well, you could do audio and all kinds of things.
Oh, I guess you
it's-
could talk
it's
to
not
it.
necessarily,
Yeah.
right? It's, I look at, we had someone talk to our faculty about ChatGPT yesterday, and it was kind of, well, what impact does this have? It's always about us, media.
Yeah.
And I think far differently. I wrote a post on Medium about this, that we got to expand the notion of literacy and more tools for creation. Or say, look at it when it comes to art. I can't draw worth a damn, but ChatGPT, or DALL-E can help me express myself in images. Yes, it looks fake. Yes, it's not great, but it's better than I could ever do.
Mhm.
And that brings me a power that I didn't have. That's the kind of stuff that really interests me about this. And Leo, I keep thinking about your. Sorry, Stacey. Just
No.
Just
I
one
was
more.
going to piggyback, but you can finish and I'll go.
I just so I can disagree with Leo. We always want a chance to do that. What's the name of that search engine thing you're using now? What's it called?
Neva.
Neva. I just don't think. I think it's my prediction, and I don't predict, but I'll predict now, is that textual search results will be like talking to these devices that you had us all buy that nobody really wants to use. The Madame A's and all that. I don't think people entered into conversations with that stuff, and they could do it with their voice. And I don't think that worked well. So I don't know that's going to work in search engines. Sorry, Stacey, go ahead now.
No, I was going to say I read a really interesting article, like written by a designer about DALL-E and Stable Diffusion, and their idea was like he talks. It was one of the creators over at Argo Design, was the former Frog guys, and he was talking about the role of a designer going forward in this kind of world might be to let technology let you scale out and test a bunch of different ideas that you can. And the human has to go through and refine. What makes sense.
Refine.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you. That's what I've said for the longest, back when the whole DALL-E movement came around. Is none of this stuff is going to take away from the artist. It's only going to help the artist, get better with the things that they're doing, especially when you're talking about scale, like the designer that you just mentioned.
Did I tell you the story about the illustrators when Lincoln died at Harper's? Did I tell that story on the show?
No.
I don't recall.
So when Lincoln died, they sent illustrators down to Washington Stat, and they rode the train back to drawing what they found. Lincoln had already died by the time they got there. Then when the telegraph hit, it was more connected. Then they would send illustrators down to an event, and they would telegraph back a description of their drawings to an illustrator back in the offices who would draw something and then have it engraved. Then when who was assassinated? McKinley? No, who I should know this.
Yeah, McKinley was
assassinated
shot.
after Lincoln.
Cleveland?
McKinley.
McKinley was shot.
Yeah.
So McKinley was
Right.
shot in Buffalo, I think, or Rochester or somewhere like that, right? And so then photography was in. So then for the first time, they could send photographers up, and they got the photos back that much sooner. And the New York Times wrote a piece about, well, there goes the illustrator. And indeed, there went the illustrator. Huge numbers of illustrator jobs disappeared with photography. Then technology was trying to do differently. And I think you're right, both of you, Stacey and Ant, that whether it's for text or whether it's for illustration, this can give you all kinds of possible looks, but then it's only inspiration for the human to do.
You don't think that at some point it'll get so good that the human doesn't need to get involved?
Certain kinds of things. You look. I was thinking about this the other day, Leo.
Like stock art.
Yeah, exactly.
Stock art's fine. It's quick and dirty.
But you
Here's
gotta pay for
a
it.
blog post.
Here's
That's fine.
Gregorian chant generated by Google.
No, you
No.
could already
Oh,
the
no.
synthesizer.
Yeah.
No.
All right, here's
The
another
monks
one.
had no synthesizers.
So there's a Billie Eilish song you probably know called Happier Than Ever. Somebody has used AI to put Ariana Grande's voice on it. So it's Ariana Grande singing a Billie Eilish song.
Like a boat suit.
I think if you heard this, you would say, "Oh, that's an AI."
It's pretty good.
Yeah, sounds like Ariana Grande.
You might say, "Oh, I didn't know Ariana Grande covered that." Well, she didn't. So
It's pretty good. Dangerous, but good.
there's
Well, so there's some interesting ideas there. Like when I was younger, I hated this because I thought it was annoying. But now that I'm older, I really like it. Like when you go you go see a show live or someone covers a song and they add their spin on it. I used to hate that as a kid,
Yeah.
But now I'm like,
I love
you put a
covers
lot
now.
more value.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, what did they do? You have just,
Yeah.
I don't know
They
why
can
as a
be
kid
an
I hated them.
artist, if you will.
Yeah. One of the early
so I think
one of the
Go
early
ahead.
podcasts was called Coverville, and it was just covers. And I can remember hearing covers of songs that I had dismissed, like "Hit Me Baby One More Time" by Britney Spears. I dismissed as pop trash, but then I
Right.
heard somebody do it in a calm, quiet folk song rendition. I thought, oh, that's actually a pretty good song. So it does. I agree with you, Stacey. Hearing a cover can sometimes give you a new look at an old song.
Yeah. Like
So
the
when
Ecstasy
you
of
have all of
Gold and
this-
Metallica.
AI kind of, I think it might make individual artists, seeing them live become a lot more important, right? And maybe they'll control their own voice and their sound and do these things for mass production. But then if mass production truly becomes scalable via AI, then you're going to move back to more artisanal kind of experiences, I think, for like actual paid consumption, if that makes sense.
When I think about brands and someone like Nike, with their huge marketing departments and so forth, they could probably have someone in-house that is spending hours upon hours and just going in and trying to figure out prompts and so forth. But they're also going to spend just as much money doing market research as far as what people are reacting to and how they can really enhance what they could get out of the AI products. I don't think it's just going to be an end all with something that's generated from AI. It's probably going to be a lot more human interaction involved to figure out, will this really stick, or how can we make this even more impactful for our message, for our brand?
Then there's the case of a company called 11 Labs that claimed that they were going to be able to do, and I think we are seeing this already, really amazing voice synthesis that you give it your voice and it will generate copy with your voice and so forth. There are other companies offering this, except the folks at 4chan got a hold of it.
Ruh-roh.
When it came out of beta this past week and started posting disturbing but almost indistinguishable from the real thing. I don't know. I haven't heard it because I don't want to go on 4chan. But things like Emma Watson of the Harry Potter series reading Mein Kampf, Donald Trump on Epstein Island,
No, that's real.
Ben Shapiro making racist comments to AOC. And the problem is that I think people could fall for these, right? Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty saying, "I'm going to beat my wife, Morty." Which, of course, the creator of the show is in trouble for doing that. His girlfriend. Of course, 4chan, 11 Labs immediately kind of shut down their open beta. They're trying to figure out a way to stop misuse. This seems to happen every time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're going to have.
And the media go crazy about, oh my God, this is going to be the ruin of civilization. We figure it out.
It is okay. It is not crazy to be like, hey, it is super accessible to produce highly accurate seeming fake videos, audio, etc. of anybody in the world. That is not moral panic, Jeff. That is a legitimate.
Did I say the words moral panic? Did I say the words moral panic?
No, but you said media gets
it's cause for concern. Yeah, but what it really, and we talked about it on Sunday on Twitter, and the conclusion seemed to be, well, there's just going to be an onus on you can't believe everything you hear anymore. You couldn't for a while.
Amen.
And she's
well,
just
people don't believe so. People use this to condemn social media. In most every survey out there, people say that they don't trust social media. That's good news.
Yeah.
They don't, right?
They don't, but they still let it influence them. I like one of my first journalism class, like journalism 101, our professor got in there and was like, he told us about this new study that, toothpaste had sugar in it and it was actually harmful for people. And, he passed out an article or something and we were all like, and he was like, all right, let's talk about it. And then he asked us, do we believe this? And, half of the class was like, yeah. Here it is. And the other half was like, well, I don't know. But then even at the very end, the class still had pulled like a quarter of the people were like, oh my God, it's still scary. It sowed enough doubt in 24, like half or a quarter of the class that, they may not believe this sort of thing is true, but they're also like, well, maybe it is.
So by the way, it's not true, right? There is no sugar in.
It is no.
toothpaste.
There is no sugar in toothpaste.
It's sweet, so you might believe that.
Yes, that was his. He was like, people want to believe what it's easy to believe, and
Do you believe this? I hereby verify that I, Leo Laporte, like Descript to create an overdubbed version of my voice. Why do you want this, Anthony?
No idea.
Well, hey, it's AI Leo Laporte, the AI tech guy. This week on Twit. That was something Anthony
That's
did
pretty
for
daggum good.
For our promo.
That's pretty daggum good. I mean, it's yes, it had a few of the little robot.
You could tell it wasn't me.
It was a little robotic.
But it was my voice. Actually, the only thing wrong with it was the inflections were wrong. It was hey.
That's
I'm
Leo
Leo
at about 3 hours into the show.
Yeah.
When you're really
But the voice was accurate. It sounded like my voice.
Yeah. Just give it time.
Yeah. OpenAI offers error-prone AI detector amid fears of a machine-stuffed future. This is from Katiana Quach at the Register. OpenAI has released a free online tool designed to deflect accusations against OpenAI for cheating with ChatGPT. It's dubbed the AI text classifier. Have you seen this yet? Is this being used in academia, Jeff?
I've heard a lot of talk about these things. There was a kid that did one version, but I also saw a writer who put her own writing into it, and she was accused of using ChatGPT for what she'd already written years ago.
False positive is a problem because you're going to be accused of plagiarism with something you really wrote is not good. Yeah. Schools and universities in the U.S., France, and India have since banned students from accessing ChatGPT. But then there's teachers like you talked about, Jeff, last week, who are using ChatGPT in the classroom.
There's a woman on TikTok who's just amazing, very creative about it and wonderful. And I want to talk to my colleagues about it. One colleague said, when we use transcription tools these days, which broadcast students have to use a lot, it's using AI like crazy.
Right.
To do that. I put up a thing on the rundown. You're not going to want to, it's an academic paper on line 77, but I think it was Google, according to somebody in Mastodon, brought together professional writers to ask how they would see using these tools. And they broke down various functions of inspiring an idea, a seed of a story, completing an idea, working it through. I think that's where this becomes interesting to me is when you see this tool as a tool, then what can people do with it? How does it expand what they're capable of? That's what's interesting. But it's going to replace us. No, it's not going to.
What we talked about CNET's use of artificial intelligence to write its articles.
Did you ever hear which engine they used? I think
they have their own engine called Wordsmith.
Oh, you see. Oh, that's actually, this paper's about Wordsmith too.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
it was clearly a bad one.
Well, so it had inaccuracies which the human editors did not
this is WordCraft.
catch.
I'm sorry. This is WordCraft.
Yeah. But that isn't really the issue to me. The issue to me is, remember those old days of link farms? You were talking about this. Yes. It was somebody's brilliant idea, put a lot of venture capital into it, to create sites where you would figure out you'd figure out from Google what were the most search terms.
After About.com did that, then others copied it.
What was the name of that? There was a name for that kind of thing.
Oh,
wasn't link farm, but it was like that.
It was.
I can't remember.
Click farming? No, that's ad click.
No, it was like
link baiting.
No, the idea is you figure out what the top search terms are, and then you write articles tailored to get.
Oh, that's just search optimization, isn't it?
Well, no. It's you're creating it.
So let's say
no, I know.
You notice that when people people do a search for belt buckles. Yeah. A lot. So you
or mesothelioma.
And so you create a bunch of articles with the plan.
Which About.com.
Oh, those are content farms.
Content farms. There you go.
Content farms. That's it. Thank you. About.com did it very well. Others copied it. I can't remember the name of the company.
And then our friend Matt Cutts did everything he could to stop that from happening, right? I think successfully.
That was Panda. Panda was the first major update to search to deal with that.
Well, there are those, mostly The Verge, accusing CNET of going, and more than CNET, their private equity owners, Red Ventures, of deciding to monetize CNET by making it a content farm, by using these AIs to generate articles that will show up in search results. And they also own, Red Ventures doesn't just own CNET, they own the Points Guy and some credit card review sites. And all of them make money by generating content that is going to show up on search. So you click on it, and then you get affiliate revenue.
The real thing here is content and writing, not reporting. I'm going to anticipate Stacy because she's going to say reporting. But content and writing are utterly commodified now. It's not special to write anymore.
Well, that was Connie Guglielmo's contention. So when Connie was on Twit, this story had just broken. She's the editor-in-chief of CNET, and she said, we have these AIs write the articles that writers don't want to do. They're just boring, explainers on, personal finance. And so nobody really wants to write it. So we just have the AI write it, and then we have an editor check it, and then we put it up because these are useful to people. But nobody, we would like our writers to do other stuff.
100 times before.
Yeah.
It's like, when should
but
you
they're
get a mortgage?
also, a useful personal finance primer is actually something people would want to. I mean, as a writer, you may hate doing it. Like I used to hate doing, but like servicey things should not be farmed out to AIs.
Well, I think CNET learned that lesson.
But I don't think that's what CNET is doing, right? They're not doing the serviceable stuff. It's more of the...
No, that's what they wanted to do is have a whole series of 75 articles on personal finance so they'd have this encyclopedia. And it did kind of mesh nicely with Red Ventures' other holdings of credit card companies. And there is there's some suspicion that maybe, and this often happens with private equity, that they want to monetize quickly because they usually have a lot of debt that they need to pay off to acquire these. Right. So they maybe were taking this venerable and valuable brand, CNET, and turning it into content farms. Here's the article from Search Engine Land, Barry Schwartz. Is AI-written content replacing cheap old content farms? It sounds like Google Panda.
Yeah.
Let's look. Can I look at another angle, sir?
Sure.
So this AI generated content is bringing eyeballs there. Yes, there's affiliate links and things of that nature, but what about the potential of retention of the eyeballs coming there? Oh, well, while I'm here, how about I click on this menu over here to check out this other topic that may be of interest to me? Oh, the new M2 Max are out. What did they have to say about that? There's a lot of interest in M2 Max. But what you would hope is you would get an article that was written by a human being that did some research, did some benchmarking, did some tests, instead of CNET does that. CNET does that.
They do that.
for
He's
consumer
saying this could be
electronics.
like gateway. The AI content is like a gateway, get you in the door.
Right.
When you're
It
searching
holds
for
you
something,
on to
right?
the site. You know?
Well, whatever. It's not real content. That's my point. And it's not written. It's written to gain search clicks.
Exactly.
As opposed to serve an audience.
I mean, news has always been written to gain some sort of eyeball, right? So
Every
you look
daggum
at,
headline.
Yeah, you look at, I mean, yes, there is actual journalism, but believe you me, there's, for every real story, there's 3, filtered press releases or silly things that are
true.
Yeah.
So
here's what The Verge wrote. The robot articles published on CNET don't need to be good. They need to rank highly in Google searches so lots of people open them and click the lucrative affiliate marketing links they contain. And so that's why you have articles, things like what's the best credit card to get for points, or can you buy a gift card with a credit card, or what is Zelle and how does it work? These are all real articles on CNET or Bankrate or creditcards.com before they were taken down.
And talk to me for a minute, because you just said it again for a minute. You get, I don't know, the word is disgusted, turned off by news.
Yeah, because a lot of it is sensationalized and shouldn't have to be. And then there's a whole lot of slant when it's supposed to be news. Just give me the facts. And I found that to be the case with just about all of the news outlets out there today. Instead of just giving me the facts, they're giving me their opinions and all kinds of other mess that has nothing to do with the facts. I don't need all that. I don't care. So just
But I would submit that there is value.
The facts are not helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
you
Defend
need
it,
interpretation.
Stacey. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, there are certainly times when the facts make sense, right?
Yeah.
But most people need more than the facts. They need some sort of context. So it's not enough to say, let's take.
I agree about context. But
okay, but
what
choosing the
disagree-
context is what people get frustrated about. They think that's opinionizing in a lot of ways. I can choose if I am going to report on. Let's say I'm going to report on. Give me something like a new law.
I'll give you one.
City council.
I'll give you one.
Okay, give me.
The Fed today raised interest rates 25 basis points. That's the fact.
Oh.
But what a good writer will do is say that's lower than previous raises, which some experts believe means the Fed's less worried about inflation than they used to be. That's the context.
You could talk about the last time it was raised 25 or 250 basis points, what that meant.
Right.
See, everything you all are saying right now, that's totally fine. I'm talking about there's.
Well, then there's
Well, what
also
if I say it
certain
last
outlets out
happened
there that
under
really,
a
really
Republican
lean
administration?
one way or another.
Right.
You know,
there's ways.
some that'll
There's
lean
ways to
left
say
hard.
Yeah. So that's
lean right.
the two different headlines. You could say Fed raises interest rates 25 basis points. It looks like inflation's not over, folks. Or Fed raises interest rates 25 basis points. Looks like they're not so worried about inflation as they were previously. Two different interpretations on the same
Or Brad
fact.
DeLong has a book out now that I'm listening to, Slouching Toward Utopia, I think it's called, in which he argues strenuously that causing a recession to slow down the economy is basically amoral. Well, that's a clear opinion. That's a view. He's an economist, and so he has that view. Now, is that slant or is that perspective? I find it really valuable as perspective, but I know people are going to disagree with it.
Perspective is I'm fine with perspective. I just don't care for the dadgum cheerleaders with all of the pom-poms that are leaning one way or the other. Just give me the facts.
Well, but some people feel like, one person's cheerleader is another person's fact person. People have accused me for years of being a cheerleader for various industries.
Yeah.
When in fact, I just acknowledge the technical limitations of something that a company might have, right? They're like, no, you can't do this. I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you want that's just your opinion. It's just your opinion, man.
That's only your opinion, man. I know what you're saying, Ann, and I think some of this comes from the fact that we have in the United States 3 24-hour news channels, each of which have very
they have their own
TV news is horrifying.
Yeah.
Just no.
Just like us.
But
It's a
that's
matter.
what's
It's a matter of
accessible
degree.
to the masses, you know.
It's a matter of degree. I think we try really hard not to be biased, but our entire job is not to provide facts because we're talking about already reporting somebody's done, but to explain, to elaborate, to elucidate. So we are doing that. I guess it's really a matter of degree, or I don't know.
Yeah, everything kind of turns into a matter of degree, to be totally honest.
Yeah. It's all gray goo at the bottom. All right, let me take a break. We got lots more to talk about. I think we're going to be talking about a lot about AI. People are going to get bored to death with it, but there's just so much interesting stuff
so
happening.
Fascinating.
It really is, and its impact on us. And it's funny because the whole tech industry for the last 5 years has been looking over there. Look at VR, AR. That's going to be the next big thing. And all of a sudden, and this always happens, AI sneaks up on them and they went, whoa, never mind that VR, AI. AI. And it's really fascinating to me. I mean, literally, Microsoft fired most of the people working on augmented reality. When's the last time Google talked about VR, AR?
Facebook is kind of
Facebook put a lot of money, but I wonder if how hard they're working on it right now.
And they've always had big AI labs too.
In fact, Jan LeCun, who is their AI guru there, one of the smartest guys in AI, when talking about ChatGPT last week, said, "Oh, that's no big deal. We have that." Which is either just jealousy. Oh yeah, we thought of that before.
Well, look what happened to BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed announced they were going to have AI write quizzes and the stupid BuzzFeed stuff, right? And then Facebook is going to give them a lot of money to do that. BuzzFeed's stock doubled from 2 cents to 4 cents, whatever. But now it's seen as a way. I think it's going the wrong way once again. It's good, more content.
This is Jonah Peretti in a nutshell. Same thing.
Yes, it is.
It is chasing the flavor of the month. And it's what BuzzFeed has always done, and it's what the industry has always done. So I hope we're not doing that. I guess that was what I led off this whole conversation with, which is this another AI spring that's just going to end up with an AI winner, or is this really transformative? Are we about to enter the next, as Ben Thompson says, the next epoch of computing? Equivalent to the internet and smartphones, and I
think we need to get that same AI that did the Seinfeld show to do Twig.
Oh, it'd be so boring. Oh my God, it'd be so boring.
When we talk about AI, I guess AI is going to be way bigger than the blockchain discussions over the last several years.
Yep.
Yeah, we kind of got over blockchain, didn't we?
I'm going to disagree because to me, blockchain is a fundamental underlying technology that's also going to be useful for lots of things.
Right.
But we just got sidetracked on this whole crypto finance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's being used actually in businesses right now for like tracking information already. It's just not going to be as big as we thought it would be. It's going to be like,
it's not as shiny, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like deduping technology or something that's really essential and useful, but nobody cares about it, right?
Blockchain is just a decentralized database.
Right. It's a decentralized ledger.
We're as excited about blockchain as we are about MySQL. People are going to use it. It's in some cases.
For a while, I was really excited about NoSQL databases and
good.
I mean, it was a big deal.
It's similar. It's very if you want to say blockchain is on that level of importance, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Is it going to transform the financial world? Is it going to empower unbanked people all over the globe? No. And poor Kevin Rose.
Is it a mechanism by which we can have automated smart contracts? Yes.
Yeah.
And that will be relevant. It's just not relevant in a way that people are going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a Kevin update?
Well, he lost his squiggles. So, Kevin, as last week we were reporting as it happened that Kevin had announced he'd been hacked. He has revealed that the NFTs that he lost were these really, really pretty squiggles. It's actually on, I don't even need to scroll down into his Twitter. It's the header on his Twitter. But this is the funny thing. So he lost that. But he could still make it his Twitter
It's right
header.
there.
It's right there. What did you lose?
Yep.
You lost the right to say, I own this.
You lost the right to sell it to some.
That's what he really lost. Yeah. He says he lost millions of dollars. He was social. Oh, here's a picture somebody sent him taking his little squiggle away. Taking away the squiggle. Yeah, I was going to do an ad.
Stacey knows, sooner the ad comes, sooner the end comes.
Sooner the ad comes, sooner the end comes. Look at, even though this one was simple, not rare, loved the pattern. Damn. Chromie squiggle number 4429. I'd be very curious what he paid for that, actually. He says, damn, I loved this one too. Okay. Our show
is on OpenSea, invisible.
It's pretty.
He can't get it. That's what he's saying? It's on OpenSea, the marketplace, but he can't get it.
Well, it was his. He owned it, and he was social engineered out of it. So it's worth $17,197.
Is it though?
Is it though?
To someone.
Is it? Crowvault owns it. See, Kevin knows this is this is the benefit of blockchain. You know who owns it? Crowvault, whoever that is. So it used to be Kevin's. Okay, our show today. Actually, you want to make a squiggle worth millions? Maybe you should check out Miro. Do you know about Miro? Miro is super cool. We welcome Miro, a brand new sponsor on the network. Miro can be anything. You start with the idea of it's a shared whiteboard, okay? A collaborative visual whiteboard. But what is that? Well, this is why I want you to go to Miro.com/podcast and take a look. And in fact, I most particularly want you to go to the Miro examples, the templates. They have a page of other Miro whiteboards people have created that is so cool, so exciting. I think you will look at this. So this is what I want you to do so you can understand it. Who is it for? It's for everybody. It's for product managers. It's for marketers, or they call it the Miroverse, where other people's Miros are. So you can download these and use them as a template for your own. Everything from icebreakers for your next meeting to flow charts for your next project, team alignment circles, team psychological safety, digital campaign planning, midnight sailboat retrospective. Here's a Beatles retrospective somebody's created. It's unlimited what you can do. Now, the next time you got a meeting, I want you to use Miro for your meeting. Miro has built-in polls, timers. You can head to consensus using Miro. It's so much more than just a simple digital whiteboard. It's a visual collaboration tool packed with features so that you and your whole team can build on one another's ideas, create something innovative. And nowadays, with everybody working from home or hybrid, it's really nice to be able to get the team together over this Miro whiteboard for brainstorming and planning and researching and designing, for feedback cycles. It can live on a Miro board. The integrations, look at the integrations. You could do a Kanban on your Miro board. And it's fast. It's fast. Faster input means faster outcomes. Miro users report Miro increases project delivery speed by 29%. It's just a natural way to work. You can zoom in and out. You can view and share the big picture overview in a cinch. And you know what you'll find when you're working with teams, and everybody has a voice and everybody's input is welcome, you can all tap into a single source of truth that keeps people engaged, invested, happy, and productive. Cut out any confusion on who needs to do what by mapping out processes, roles, timelines. Get that Kanban up. Several different templates, including Miro's swim lane diagram, which is a great way to keep track of who's doing what. Strategic planning becomes easier when it's visual and accessible. You can tap into a way to map processes, systems, and plans with the whole team so they not only can see it, They can have input and feedback into it. The only problem is it's so flexible and capable, it's hard to describe what Miro could do. That's why I want you to go to Miro.com/podcast. Go to the Miroverse, take a look at some of the amazing things people have created with Miro. Get some ideas. Some of the biggest companies in the world use Miro. Take a look at the integrations, all the different things you can put into Miro. So you're working with the tools you already know, like Slack and Dropbox and Box and so forth. And Google, of course, Google Drive. You could create a team workspace. You could put in shortcuts so you go right to what you're working on. I know teams that literally live in Miro all day. They keep it open all day. Connect it to GitHub. Connect it to wherever your projects live. I just love this idea. It's such a brilliant product. And I love it that they've put all the tools on so you can take a look at how you can use it. And of course, it's completely secure. You're going to love Miro. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Miro.com/podcast right now. Take a look at what Miro can do for you. Strategic planning is so much easier. It's a great way to map processes and systems, to map plans with the whole team. And if you're feeling a little tired, and who isn't these days, you'll be glad to know Miro users report saving 80 hours per user per year just by cutting down meeting times, streamlining conversations. That's 2 whole weeks, 2 whole work weeks a year. It's like having an extra vacation. More than 1 million users use Miro every single month. And now I know why. Miro, Miro.com/podcast. Here's the best part. You can get your first 3 boards free, so you could try it out right now. Start working better together. Miro.com/podcast. I told him, I said, I am so excited. We're going to start using this for our Ask the Tech Guys show. Mike and I are going to do some planning on it. I'm thrilled about it. But look at this Miroverse for just a kind of a glimpse at some of the things people are doing with it. It's pretty incredible. And you'll never want to have another meeting without Miro running in the background, and the timers and the polls and the consensus building tools. They're just fantastic. Here's a Harry Potter retrospective created by the UK government. Post-meeting summary. Look at this. What a great board this would be to have. Collaborative meeting agenda. Ideation workshop. Miro.com and Stinky Fish. Miro.com. I don't know what that is. It's Miro.com/podcast. It's fun. That's, I think, a lot of it. It's visual. It's fun. It's exciting. Give it a try. 3 boards free. Miro.com/podcast. On we go.
Leave the commercial.
Pardon
AI?
me? Yes.
Before you leave that ad, my colleague Jeremy Kaplan at the New York Graduate School of Journalism, who's a brilliant educator and knows every tool out there. He loves Miro.
Oh, nice.
And he brings it into class all the time, attaches it to events, attaches it to Zoom. There's all kinds of ways that he uses it.
Yeah. It works. You can log in with Zoom and use it with your
tool.
Zoom meetings. Here's a cover story mock-ups you could use to figure out what your cover story is going to look like, or what your story is going to look like on all these different publications. There's just so many ways. Yeah. I think for teaching it'd be really cool.
It's very good.
Yeah,
it involves people in collaboration. Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited about the idea of these new tools can give us new ways of working together, new ways of thinking. Even that's pretty exciting. Meta has survived its first challenge in its acquisition of Within, the virtual reality startup. A judge, the FTC asked for a judge to issue a restraining order preventing Meta from closing the deal while the FTC is considering it. The judge said, no, I am not going to block it. U.S. District Judge Edward Davila, in an early sealed decision early this morning. It's sealed, but it, of course, immediately leaked. Leah Nyland at Bloomberg had the story. Denied the FTC's request for a preliminary injunction to block the proposed transaction while the agency pursues a separate case in its in-house court. So Meta will now be able to go ahead.
But the FTC can still go after
They
it.
can
and then
stop
tell
it
them
later.
to divest it or what? Or
Yeah, they could say, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is the Within makes a VR game called Supernatural. That is a very, very good game, very popular, and it's all about partly about fitness. And I think Meta really wants to get into this area. They already have a program actually that does this. So the argument is they're trying to do the same thing they did with Instagram, which is put competitors or get rid of competitors by acquiring them. And so that's, I think, going to be the FTC's argument. We shall see. It's not like this space is just there's a handful of competitors. I think there's quite a few, but no, it's not a monopoly issue. We talked about Elon Jet, the Elon flight tracker, which upset Elon so much he called it assassination coordinates, banned Jack Sweeney, the college kid from Florida who does the Elon Jet account, from Twitter. And then when he moved to Mastodon, banned mention of Mastodon on Twitter. He's back down on that a little bit. But the flight tracker that Elon Jet and these other jet tracking accounts use is called ADSB Exchange. And it's an interesting story. This is kind of a collaborative effort. Turns out all planes have transponders identifying them by tail number. And other planes use this. I presume traffic control and flight control uses it as well. So they know what's up there, but there is no publicly available database of this. So what the guy who owns ADSB Exchange did is he got people to put up little radio receivers all over the globe and report in. He set up software that would automatically let them report in. And eventually they were able to, with thousands of trackers, build a pretty...
Decentralized flight tracking.
Yeah. They put a really great, open platform for this. Unfortunately, it was owned by one guy. The costs were high, I imagine, for running this. He created, I guess, the software. Dan Strufert is his name. He created the software to collect this information and built this site. But while revenue is increasing, costs are also increasing. So last month, as the site was getting all that attention for Elon Jet, the site's founder and sole owners announced he was planning, actually there were rumors that he was planning to sell the website to JetNet. He's the sole owner. He did. And after the deal became public last week, there was a mutiny. Shortly after the deal became public, Strufert was removed from the Discord as the site's users contemplated their next move. A revolt was led by James Stanford.
A revolt just against the idea, or
because JetNet had previously been purchased by our favorite villain of the week, Private Equity. And so James Stanford, who's one of ADSB Exchange's senior administrators, said, hey, this is not good. You do this and you're going to lose all of your volunteers who put these radios up and put this signal up.
Okay.
They're volunteers.
So they'll just take out. Well, yeah. That's a good indicator to private equity that maybe they don't want to invest in decentralized things.
Yeah. Stanford wrote, ADSBExchange.com is done. He posted instructions on how to unplug from the network. Many follow those instructions, according to Ars Technica, with some flipping over to some smaller alternatives like airframes. In a span of a few hours, it went from 11,000 feeders to 9,500. Jack Sweeney, the guy who ran Elon Jet, said today is a sad day. If you feed ADSB Exchange, we encourage you to stop. ADSB Exchange is founded on the principles of hobbyist communities, not for-profit public equity firms. So, yeah, don't... It reminds me, remember CDDB, which was, again, the same thing. People uploaded, they would burn their CDs and then upload track information to the centralized database so that all could use it. IMDb, same idea. These were all acquired. And then companies profited off of these volunteer efforts.
Stacy's point is really interesting here. what is this? If you look at Mastodon and you hope that there is some investment in some of the tools around it, but your point, Stacey, is that is an investor going to be scared of anything that can bring revolt, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what is if a lot of these people? I mean, it's kind of a tragedy of the commons in the software world, I guess.
Yes.
You might start building something because you're interested in it, but at a certain point in time, there are costs and effort that you may not be willing to give. So maybe you open source it, give it out. Maybe you decide to invest in it and build in it for the community. But once you start doing that, then there's the very real question, like, hey, when I die, what happens? Or if I get sick of doing this, how do I get out? And if someone comes up and offers you several $1 million or whatever.
$20 million.
$20 million. I mean, yeah, they're going to take the money. Now,
furthermore, they now
private equity.
It's private equity. They now have to recoup their $20 million. So
yeah. So, I mean, but if you're a private equity fund, I don't know why, if you're doing your due diligence, I don't understand why you would invest that much in something that is reliant on where your core values.
Elon might have written a check. Elon was so upset about Flight Tracker.
Yeah.
I could see him saying,
"Take it out,
hey, take it out, boys." FlightAware, which is a commercial site, and Flight Radar, they do the same thing for money. Maybe they just
I was going to say that. I mean, we have Flight Tracker and FlightAware. There are services that do this, so.
Yeah, they're all commercial.
I guess it just seems like a bad investment from a private equity perspective.
I think that's a good point. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm on the ADSB site, and there's no mention of the acquisition or anything, not even in their forums. How recent was this?
Last week.
Last week or so.
You would think they would have something up to say, you know what, things are going to be changing.
Well, maybe they don't want to. I mean, look, again, it's a volunteer force of people doing this.
Mm. And when all of that went down with Elon Musk and his private jet or the family's private jet or what have you, did he publicly announce that, look, I don't want this to be tracked? Because I thought there was some type of procedures
you could do that, yeah.
Did he follow through with that and still had that information put out there by these tracking systems? That's not cool if that's the case.
Well, there's nothing you could do about it, except a lot of celebrities do, which is anonymously rent jets. So the tail number is not associated directly with you. Elon owns that jet, I guess. But
I think Ant's right. I thought I read something that said, and I have no link, so I don't know. I'm just like a ChatGPT with no facts. That said that you could withdraw your tail from these reporting things. I thought
you can, unless you have enthusiasts on the ground tracking your transponder. You can't turn off the transponder.
That you can't.
Okay.
Right.
You have to do it through a formal, a licensed service. But if it's an unlicensed service tracking it,
I see.
Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just people on the ground.
It is illegal not to have a transponder.
Yeah.
Because otherwise planes would run into each other.
Right. Got it. Okay.
The tracking, I'm reading so this is an article from NBC when this all happened. How is it legal to track private planes? How could that be legal? The tracking capabilities are possible thanks to a technology called ADBSB, or Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast.
Surveillance? Did I hear surveillance?
Every 3 seconds, ADSB equipment on a plane sends out real-time data about the aircraft's location, altitude, and velocity to avoid mid-air collisions and to allow people on the ground to know where an airplane is at all times. ADSB technology is mandated by the FAA on all aircraft.
It should be in all self-driving cars, too.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is the difference. You probably could go to FlightAware or Flight Tracker and say, hey, please don't put my plane up there. They're commercial entities, but ADSB
I'm sure the CIA
Exchange
does that.
Yeah. But you can't do that with ADSB Exchange because it's just a bunch of enthusiasts with the radios. Dan Struford said, all these folks send data in, we aggregate the info and put it on a map. The purpose of this is not for being a paparazzi, it's for aviation enthusiasts.
There's a really cool plane heading your way.
But it sure did sound like paparazzi, though, in his story.
He says, we publish everything. It's already public data. We're not sharing anything you couldn't find from any other sources. Flight Radar and FlightAware do actively suppress flight information about planes whose operators have asked the FAA to block their registration number from public view, but the ADS-B exchange is not using the FAA feeds. So it's not, it's just enthusiasts.
So I would
that explains it.
PAPs probably do use it.
Yeah.
I mean, a journalist would use any tool available to them to get this guy. And, you know, there's a public interest in maybe not tracking Elon, but in even like Wall Street firms, like knowing that a CEO has flown, you know,
just
their plane has gone to
meeting.
Yeah.
You're using the public's airwaves. You know, I mean, I don't know. I feel like
commercial with the mustache, you know,
like I do. Yeah. Apparently, the FAA does have a program that allows planes to encode their ADS-B signals so that they cannot be matched to other information in the publicly available Civil Aviation Registry. It's unclear, according to NBC, whether Musk participates in that blocking program.
Okay.
And
so it's unclear.
Struford says in many cases, other high-profile people don't appear to take advantage of such programs, which is surprising, Struford said. A lot are vocal about the privacy issues, and sometimes they don't seem to be doing all they can to prevent this. So you could do that.
Right.
And still be compliant with the law. So I don't know. Why don't
maybe they just haven't had their personal assistants. They're not aware to send them off to do this.
That's exactly right.
All right.
That's exactly right.
I was curious.
Big victory against ransomware. We talked about this yesterday on Security Now. The FBI, so Hive, which is a ransomware as a service, I hate to say company, but that's what they do. They have affiliates who are people like you and me who decide they want to make a little money on the side, and Hive provides the software and I guess helpful information to let you attack people using their software. You give them back a percentage of your income from ransomware. Hive is one of the bigger ransomware as a service groups like Revil and others we've talked about on Security Now. The DOJ revealed this week that the FBI had been infiltrated the Hive ransomware group in July of last year. And that for the last 6 months, they've been saving people. They gave out more than 300 decryption keys to those hacked so they wouldn't have to pay the ransomware.
Nice.
Aw, so nice.
Hive is nasty. They were attacking schools, hospitals, financial companies, even infrastructure. In more than 80 countries around the world, one hospital was left unable to accept new patients thanks to Hive. The FBI worked with a number of different nations' law enforcement agencies. 50 organizations. In the UK, for instance, they gave 50 companies decryption keys. They also were able to warn people that you're next so they could lock themselves down. You got to do this carefully because they didn't want the Hive people to know that they'd infiltrated them, right? It's like knowing the Enigma machine. You can't be too smart. Thursday, they ended the operation, taking down Hive's website and communications networks with the help of police forces in Germany and the Netherlands. Hive, it's believed, was operating out of Russia.
They didn't arrest anybody, right?
Because they're in Russia. Yeah.
The Hive could start up again and start doing it again.
That's
tomorrow, right?
good, and it happens all the time. Mandiant intelligence head John Hultquist said, until the group is arrested, they will never truly be gone. They will have to reconstitute, which takes time, but I bet they reappear in time. As of now, if you're a Hive affiliate and you go to the Hive website, you'll see this hidden site has been seized. The FBI has seized this site. It looks like malware.
Site?
It looks like malware, doesn't it?
Yeah. Polizei Baden-Württemberg.
Yeah. They did catch the Revil guys last year, and actually in 2021. So they are able to arrest them in some cases. The problem is, I think Russia protects these ransom. This is another kind of Cold War that they wage against the West, and so I believe these groups are protected often by Russia. But more and more, we're seeing countries fight back. Australia says now we're going to we're going to hack the hackers. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, success. Well done. Bravo. Ev Williams says, I'm sorry, Biz Stone, not Ev. Biz Stone says, one of the founders of Twitter, Elon doesn't really seem like the right person to own Twitter. I love how these former Twitter folks are so reluctant to say really nasty things like, what a jerk.
Piping up.
Stone says running social media companies is not really a win-win situation. It's always tough because 50% of the people are going to be happy, 50% of the people are going to be upset with you. You have to be okay with stuff you just don't like or don't agree with being on there. Otherwise, you should just go buy a magazine or a newspaper or something where it's okay to have a specific leaning. When Biz was asked by The Guardian in an interview whether Musk was the right owner for Twitter, he said, it doesn't seem like it right now, but I could be wrong.
He doesn't seem like he's having fun.
It doesn't seem like he's having a lot of fun.
So I'm reading a good book right now, which I've mentioned right over the time, Tarleton Gillespie's Custodians of the Internet, which is all about moderation. And what he says in the beginning, because that's all I've read so far, it's really interesting. He said that the mistake that Twitter and Facebook et al. Made was they didn't realize that they were moderation companies. They weren't hosting companies. That the essence of what they do is moderation, and they needed to acknowledge that and admit that and budget for that and build around that, and they didn't.
Well, it's just what Amy Webb, one of our favorite contributors in our shows, she's a futurist, says. Companies should be doing strategic planning for the future. They need to think. They can't just do quarter by quarter. They really have to look ahead at the risks, deeply understand what the risks are of the businesses that they're in, and plan for it.
Well, wouldn't you say that? I think Google does that.
Well, you know better. You wrote the book. What would Google do? You know better than
Facebook thinks it's doing that with AR, VR, and giving up on social.
Right.
I think they kind of do that. I mean, Twitter right now is not, but that's because Musk can.
Right.
Plan.
This is an old story, but I became aware of it thanks to Mike Masnick on Tech Dirt. Just down the road from you, Stacy, the Seattle School District.
You tried to talk about this last week, and I told you no.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Hey, see, it's not a democracy. If he wants to talk about it, he can talk about it. Don't cancel.
No, I'll listen to her. I won't listen to you, but I will listen to her.
I know that.
I mean, if there was a snowball's chance in hell, if this was more than just like pandering to a base, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. But
they're suing social media because it's bad for the children. All right. Yeah. All right. I did not attend this morning's Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event in which they announced the S23 phone with a 200 megapixel sensor.
Stop.
Did you watch it, Ant? Did anybody?
I caught some of it because I wanted to hear Mr. Howe's thoughts. But as you had said previously, that most of the stuff about the phone was already leaked, so I'm like, whatever.
I feel bad because I didn't show up because I thought it's just going to be a pep rally. I don't really.
But I wanted to hear Mr. Jason's thoughts, and what I did catch was some talk about XR, and I wanted to hear Miss Stacy's thoughts because they talked about Matter and this being the year of Matter, and what did she think of the announcement today?
Oh, I didn't hear the Matter bits. Now I feel bad. It started as we finished doing our show this morning, recording our show. So I was going to turn it on, but then I was editing something.
Even
so
this article on Gizmodo, everything Samsung announced at Galaxy Unpacked 2023 is one paragraph.
Oh,
I'm looking for more. That's it. It's one paragraph. They announced 3 new versions of the Galaxy S23 and 3 new Windows laptops. That's it.
Oh, I thought they were Chromebooks. They were actual Windows devices.
Yeah, I think so.
Now your Chromebooks?
I thought they were Chromebooks.
No, they're called Galaxy Books, but they're Windows based. So I could see the confusion there. 3 new Galaxy Book 3 offerings, including an Ultra tier, starting at $2,400. Everything here's the long version of the article. It's just a picture. Well, geez, Louise.
Well, I will say, as part of the whole XR stuff, and they did have Google folks and Qualcomm folks, I expect at Mobile World Congress coming up in February that Qualcomm's going to do a bunch of AR compatible chips. So I've been talking to some people. I'm actually trying out these glasses. Well, I'm trying out a service, but I had to buy glasses to try out this AR service. And they only work with a very limited number of Qualcomm chips. Mm-hmm. And I expect Qualcomm to make some announcements at Mobile World Congress related to that, especially given that Cristiano was up on stage at the Samsung event, and the Samsung phones are one of the few places for these fancy Snapdragon AR2 Gen 1 chips.
Yeah, no more Exynos. They're going to do Qualcomm, I guess. That was the rumor. Is that what they did, Jason? Jason's in the chat room.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's
Qualcomm was there, as well as, what's his name? Hiroshi Lockheimer?
Hiroshi Lockheimer from Android, of Android and Google fame.
He was also there talking all Google.
That's funny because for a while, Samsung never used the A word.
Right.
They didn't want to mention that these are running on Android. It's like it's like their own thing or something.
Oh, because Tizen wasn't even a mobile OS, was it? It was just, I still don't know.
No, Tizen was for their watches.
Tizen.
Yeah, I don't think they put on anything but watches.
It and their TVs.
Oh,
I
that's
think it
right.
Was their,
it was kind of an IoT.
Their Android.
Yeah. Well, I think when they started, they were worried that Google might make Android less desirable for them or have more stringent requirements. So they developed a competing operating system, and then they kind of gave up because in the latest version of the Galaxy Wear watches, it's like it's Android Wear plus Tizen, but mostly it's Android Wear. I don't think Tizen has a big future. Galaxy Book 3 Ultra got a big flashy introduction on stage. I think the cameras, of course, are going to be of interest, and I'm sure, Ant, you're interested in what the new cameras will do.
Well, what I will say about that, sir, is back when iPhone 14 was announced, because that was the last big time phone release, episode 147 of my show, Hands on Photography, I discussed the camera hype and that 50 megapixels and how it's a bunch of bunk. Don't fall for this.
Is 200 megapixels 4 times the bunk?
You're right. Well said, sir. Yeah, don't fall for this stuff, folks. But unfortunately, people are. And also, I'd like to say, don't buy this phone right now. Give it 3 months. You get it a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Because it's not that much better than what you already have.
I have an S22.
People are keeping their phones longer.
Yeah.
I think Gartner said that they're not expecting phones, computers, just broadly consumer electronics devices are going to be down for this year.
I believe Mr. Howell mentioned a stat like that today with it. People hold it on to them a lot longer, and it is what it is because the phones we're at a plateau. They can only do so much, Yeah,
really, the only reason to get rid of them is your security updates after,
right.
Depending on what you do. I shouldn't say it. Like for XR, that's why Qualcomm's pushing so hard for XR. That's why all of these guys are, because that's going to be a jump enough in performance to get you to upgrade, presumably.
Wow, look at this. I, as a Google Fi user, can upgrade to an S23 Plus for $500, $300 for the S23, for the Ultra $600, half price.
See, what's wrong with that picture, sir? Really? It's half price for you?
Yeah.
No.
What color should I get? Green?
Bull.
Cream? Phantom black?
Bull.
Or lavender?
These phones are way overpriced. It's ridiculous. We should not have to pay this much for
$599.99. Well, that's a pretty good deal. I don't even need to trade in anything. Maybe I'll pick it up for that.
Why?
Why?
$599.
Go buy a cool kitchen gadget.
Oh, yeah,
$599 I get. $1,000 I don't. These phones they're not.
Well,
worth
the list for this $599 is twice that. It's $13.79.
Yeah.
$13.79.
I can show you a list price, and if you want to pay it, feel free.
$600 off for Google Fi customers. How could I not buy it?
That's Leo's reflex.
How could I?
By the way, you were gonna test something for me for this week.
What was that?
The new better voice stuff on the
crap!
on the,
I was
Nexus 7.
Let me call you.
You disappointed me again.
Let me call you. I'll just call. I turned it on.
Hold on.
I turned it on, but I forgot to do anything with it. Who could I call? Do
Jeff.
we have a phone number I
call
can
me and
call
I'll
we
turn
could
the
put
TV
on the
on.
air? No, I need to be able to put it on
Lisa?
the air.
Have Jammer B go to the booth and stand next to the mic there in the booth.
Oh, I could call my iPhone.
You need background noise.
I need to turn on
If it cuts it out.
the leaf blower. Do we have a leaf blower?
Oh, where's Mr. Burke?
Get me a leaf blower.
I can ring the doorbell and my dog can go. Oh wait, no, you need my dog to be with you. Never mind.
I'm gonna call myself.
There's the TV's on in the background.
I'm gonna call myself, and then
I could type. What if you call me while I'm typing?
If it can cut out Stacy's typing.
Well, no,
you know
but it cuts out my end of the thing.
Oh, sorry. I need this technology.
Oh, it went straight to voicemail because I'm on the radio.
I'm looking at the Gizmodo article.
I could call something, but I need it to be really loud behind me. Like you need to be mowing the carpet or something. Do you have an air compressor? Do we have an air compressor? That'd be good. Anyway.
You failed me again, Leo.
So get the Dyson and vacuum behind me. I'm gonna call. Okay, we're gonna turn on the radio. Get the Dyson. Hold on, I gotta get Jeff's number here. Do I have your number?
Oh, this is gold.
I might have your number.
And here comes Mr. Nielsen.
Okay, I do. It's a 908 number, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna call you right now, Jeff. Video call? No, just regular phone freaking call. Okay. I'm calling.
Oh, that's why those phones cost $1,000.
I'm calling Jeff right now. Okay. And pick up Jeff.
Hello,
Jeff. It's me, Leo, calling. It's a little bit loud back here. Go ahead, turn on the radio. Bring on more noise.
Mute your microphone, Mr.
Can you hear me?
Jarvis.
Does it sound okay? Do you hear?
It's not that great. Well, wait. I barely hear the vacuum. Yeah.
You can barely hear the vacuum. It's nice and it's nice. The vacuum. Put the vacuum right next to. It's really noisy in here. Can you hear me? Okay.
You can hear it kind of working and trying to get rid of it. It gets rid of the vacuum.
It does get rid of the vacuum. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
otherwise
that.
You sound tinny.
Hold here. I'm going to turn off my mic and hold your phone up to your mic.
Can you hear the vacuum? Come vacuum my head. So yeah, I don't hear the vacuum at all.
I don't hear a vacuum.
I don't hear it. Yeah.
If you can hear it.
Yeah.
Could you get over there? You missed
the studio mic, but not with the phone. Tell him to get closer.
On the mic you hear it, but you don't hear it on the phone. So that's pretty good. It works well.
Yeah, that's impressive.
No, now the noise is gone. Can you still hear
Mr.
me?
Victor's not going to enjoy editing.
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Your voice sounds a little tinny on it, but
well, I'm on a phone.
what
But you
happens when
couldn't
it's
hear the
cutting out his
vacuum.
I'm so used to you being high quality.
Yeah, that's right. But you couldn't hear the vacuum. So I could. That's pretty good.
Just try to get in once in a while.
And then it went out. It knew to take it out.
Every once in a while you hear it. Yeah.
Like I need to pull his voice, pull his levels up. Hold on.
This is the new feature on the on the Pixel called. I'm going to hang up on you now, Jeff. I wish I could
hang
up
up. Jesus,
for reals,
Leo. How rude.
This is the new clear calling thing that you could turn on. I said, "Good day, sir." You can turn on the phone, and I guess it works. So that's good. It wasn't
as impressive.
Yeah, it's in the system. Here you can see over my shoulder, if you can see over the shoulder, but use Clear Calling. Clear Calling is available depending on your Wi-Fi and mobile network connection. Content from your call is not sent to Google. Reduces background noises during calls. So there you go. Not available, though, on other Android phones. This is a Pixel.
Only the 7, which that I'm wondering whether I want to buy the 7.
Well, it says it uses the AI chip in here, right? It's using
exactly. That's why it's only available
neural
there.
Processor. So yeah, it worked good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. All right, let's take a little break. I got to talk about a sponsor, and we will continue on with our fabulous show. Oh, I'm excited because this week I have a little chore to do. I'm upgrading my 8 Sleep Pod to the new Pod 3 cover. Now, I don't, I'm going to do it because we want to try it. We've had the Pod, 8 Sleep Pod cover for more than a year now. You may remember me talking about putting it on and everything. We've been through a summer, a hot summer, and a cold winter. Man, it's really cold right now. It literally, we're having frost every night, and it's great. Lisa gets in. She says, I'm turning it up to 10. I said, fine. The 8 Sleep is so cool because you got each side of the bed has its own settings. It can cool, and in the summer, you're going to love this, as cool as 55 degrees. You can heat to up to 110 degrees. And the whole point is to give you a better night's sleep, not merely to keep you warm and cozy or cool during a hot night, but to give you a good night's sleep. In fact, I have the sleep doctor turn on with the 8 Sleep, and it automatically monitors my heart rate, my breathing, my movements, and it cools off as I get into deeper sleep, which it nudges me into deep sleep. So the way I have it set, it's warm when I get in bed because, I get under the covers. Oh, it's nice and cozy, at least in the winter. And then it cools off, and I go into deeper and deeper sleep. And then I have it set to start warming up in the morning, and I wake up in the morning, and I'm nice and cozy again. Look, good sleep is the ultimate game changer. Nature's gentle nurse, and the Pod cover, the ultimate sleep machine. Consistent good sleep can reduce the likelihood of serious health issues. It can decrease the risk of heart disease. It can lower your blood pressure, even reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. God knows I need that. If you're struggling to fall asleep, or if you wake up in the middle of the night, or you fight with your partner over the thermostat, you will love the 8 Sleep Pod cover. Works hard all night long to improve your sleep so you don't have to. And Lisa and I get different temperatures. It also saves us money because I don't put on the heat at night. I don't have to use the AC in the summer because we're automatic. It's actually a great way to efficiently keep you comfortable all night long. The Pod cover fits on any mattress. You can adjust the temperature of your sleeping environment so you get the optimal temperature. As I said, Lisa likes it really hot. Last night she said, come on, reach over, feel how hot it is. I said, how can you take that? She said, I love it. I love it. I'm a little bit more moderate in all of that. In addition to the best-in-class temperature regulation, it even knows what the room temperature is. So it really is responding to the environment as well as to how you're sleeping, your biometrics, your sleep stages. They've got sensors to track your health and sleep metrics without the need to wear any wearable devices. I don't have to wear my Apple Watch or anything like that. I get all those metrics in the morning. It tells me how I slept. I can't wait. We're going to put the Pod 3 cover on this weekend. I can't wait. It's got more sensors. That's the one you'll be getting. Better sleep. It's the health habit you will love sticking to night after night. Wake up fully energized with the Pod cover, and you can tackle whatever life throws at you. Go to 8sleep.com/twit. Spell it out, EIGHT, 8sleep.com/twit. Save $150 at checkout on the Pod cover. 8 Sleep currently ships within the U.S., Canada, the U.K., select countries in the EU, and good news, because it's really hot in Australia right now, it ships to Australia as well. 8sleep.com/twit. It's so nice to have exactly the right temperature when you get into bed. I love it. 8sleep.com/twit. Thank you, 8Sleep, for supporting our show. And thank you for supporting the show by going to 8sleep.com/twit.
That thing is a game changer.
Oh, you just got one, didn't you?
Oh,
do you love it?
Gosh, it's a game changer. You know the hat that I normally wear into the studio, sir.
You wear that to bed?
Follically challenged.
Yeah.
I wear that to bed typically because Queen Pruitt likes to turn on the fan, and my head just can't handle that.
I don't
so
like
now
that.
the fan doesn't come on.
Yeah, because she's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the fan doesn't come on anymore, and that side of the big, it really chills down. It's game changer. Yeah,
I envision you in one of those cartoony sleepy.
I almost bought one of those just to prove a point to her.
Yeah.
I in my nightshirt and mom
That's
in
right.
a cap
That's
had
right.
just settled down to a long winter's nap. Well, yeah, I'm so glad you got one. You have the Pod 3. I'm a little jealous, but I'm gonna install it this weekend.
Just follow the instructions.
Follow the instructions, please.
They give you. Did you have any trouble? It was me because it's easy, right? If you watch the video ahead of time, I put it on upside down. It was dumb. It was me. It's dumb. We are learning more about the Google layoffs. Of course, it was great to have Richard Hay on last week to talk about the human side of it.
Yes.
Among other groups laid off, we mentioned Area 120, the R&D division, completely stripped of employees. Google's Fuchsia OS was also hard hit. Fuchsia lost 16% of its employees. The rest of it Google was 6%, so it's a higher percentage. But does that mean there's nobody left at Fuchsia? There's 400 people working on the new operating system. Fuchsia is a new operating system from Google. Probably Blue Sky, right? I don't know if they want to replace Windows or Android with it, but they were working on it. It had some really interesting ideas, right?
It's an IoT. It's for devices, not just not smartphones or computers. It's for other devices, is my thinking, or is what I thought Fuchsia was about. And it's designed to go all the way up from a large, capable processor down to a more restrained processor. So I looked at it as a unifying operating system that could go where OS goes all the way up to running on a Google display.
Well, and you're right. We're getting it. If you have a Nest Smart Display, it's on there on most of them.
Right.
So it is running. It replaced Cast OS. It's not based on Linux. It's ground up. It's Blue Sky.
Right.
Green Field.
So it might
I've got my colors mixed up. It's Green Field as well as Blue Sky.
Well, I mean, it exists, so it's not. I feel like once it's out in the world, it's not really Blue Sky, right?
Oh, well, I only say Blue Sky because I don't even think Google knows exactly what they want to do with it. They haven't really said.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Is that Blue Sky or pie in the sky?
Well, there's 16% fewer people working on it. What's 16% of 400?
They've been working on it for so long. I've never built an operating system, so but my understanding is it takes a long time and there's several different layers.
Yeah.
So maybe
this
it was
isn't something that's killed off just from the layoffs. It's just to reduce workforce. Is what you're saying?
Well, maybe they've done all the hardest work.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Possible.
Maybe they need different people for a new phase of the OS.
According to Ars Technica, the biggest questions surrounding Fuchsia are, why does this exist? And what are its goals? Is Fuchsia an eventual replacement for Android or Chrome OS? Around 2018, when we got Fuchsia running on a Pixelbook, the source code documentation for the custom kernel says it targets modern phones and modern personal computers with fast processors. But as you point out, up to now, it's been entirely used on IoT devices. So it's just unclear.
I would still love to see a coming together of Android and Chrome.
Yeah.
The same way Apple is doing it with its Synergy.
Well, I don't know Apple well enough anymore.
Here's why I say it's Blue Sky. Hiroshi Lockheimer in 2019 said, we're looking at what a new take on an operating system could be like. And so I know out there people are getting pretty excited saying, oh, this is the new Android, or, oh, this is the new Chrome OS. Fuchsia is really not about that. Fuchsia is just about pushing the state of the art in terms of operating systems, and things that we learn from Fuchsia we can incorporate into other products. That's pretty Blue Sky, right?
Dear God, I don't even know why it exists.
Yeah, no one
why
does.
Did they only fire 16% of the people that they're worried?
So that's 4 times 16 is 56 people. So that's not a huge number out of 400, but it's, it's something.
Yeah.
A lot of empty desks around you.
64. Did I do my math wrong? I did.
Yeah, you
Thank
did. But that's okay.
In the same year, 2022, last year, one Fuchsia team member said on Hacker News, Fuchsia isn't necessarily targeting end users or application developers. Fuchsia exists to make products easier to build and maintain. Products are responsible for the app developer and end user experience. Well, that's clear as mud.
It's for the nerdy.
Nerdy. It's
so it's not going anywhere.
Right and nerdy. I think there's a small chance that everything that Fuchsia has done ends up being inside the Linux kernel.
There you go. It's for the nerdy. It ain't going anywhere, sir.
Yeah.
They'll keep working on this.
Yeah, you know what? Fire those 64 people. Or, you know what? They would have been better is move them on.
They're people. Don't say anything you will regret.
They're people. I agree. And in fact, that's why I like what Intel did. Intel had a terrible quarter.
Yeah, they did.
But instead of firing people, they all took a cut in pay, including 25% for the CEO, Pat Gelsinger.
Oh, good for them.
It was the worst earnings in over a decade. 32% drop in revenue.
That required some sort of public apology remonstration kind of thing.
Yeah. I think though, 5% cut in pay to the rank and file, 25% to the CEO. That's an interesting take. A better way maybe than firing 12,000 people, which is what Google did.
So what does he earn afterwards? How does it change?
Oh, I'm sure Gelsinger is doing just fine. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he's legitimately saved several big companies. So I'm not.
It's more symbolic that he took that, right?
I respect that. He didn't necessarily have to make it public, but I respect that. What triggered these massive losses for Intel? I can't assume that Apple is eating that much of their pie with its.
No, PC
Apple
sales
Silicon.
are down. Even Apple sales are down. But PC sales down by 30 to 40% for the manufacturers.
Down from pandemic
highs,
yeah,
but still down even from pre-pandemic numbers. It's not been a good.
Yeah, and Intel they never did well on the graphics front, and it's really eating their lunch now because they didn't have a compelling piece of silicon to do graphics.
And
so AMD's, yeah.
And remember that under Gelsinger, Intel has kind of changed course. They've decided instead of being an integrated chip design and manufacture company, they're going to kind of be both. They're going to do chip design, and they're going to be foundries for other companies like Apple. Just to answer your question, Stacy, Gelsinger's pay will be cut by $312,000. So this again involves math, but that sounds like he's still getting a good amount of money.
Yeah,
$1 million still in his pocket. His base pay was $1.25 million.
That's
Intel's
actually not terrible.
That's not bad. That's
I'm like, go him.
Yeah. That's impressive.
The majority of his compensation is from stock awards and options. So,
right.
When we're talking salary, that's not all of it. Total value of his 2021 compensation package, stand back, $178 million.
There we go. Shares.
There it is.
Holy camole. Yeah. He got $140 million in stock awards last year, or 2021. Oh, never mind.
My former CEO had a track record of going in and helping rebuild companies, if you will, and get them back on track and profitable. And when I was in school, one of my classmates was like, hey, I know you're a CEO. He came in and helped us out. And when we tried to pay him, he didn't want to get paid. He just wanted options. And sure enough, that he made way more money that way.
Oh, sure.
Versus getting the salary.
I rest my case. Jeez. Intel's going to cut 401k matching from 5% to 2.5%. Executive team members will take a 15% cut. Senior managers, mid-level managers will see 10% and 5% respectively. Lower-level employees will not be affected, according to the Wall Street Journal. So that's good. I mean, you're not going to have the same 401k contributions, but you won't. Your salary isn't going to be cut.
And again, same said CEO at the time when we were struggling. Part of the discussion was, all right, we're not going to lay people off. Health insurance prices are raising, but we're going to handle that. We just can't give y'all any raises at the moment, but we're going to make sure your health insurance is squared away, and we're not going to match as much on the 401k or what have you. And it kept everybody employed, and it was totally fine.
I
and
think
the company
right thing to do.
got better.
Yeah. Intel is targeting $3 billion in cost cuts this year, increasing to as much as $10 billion a year by 2025. And they're not ruling out layoffs. But so far.
So Intel hasn't done layoffs yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Everybody else has.
Good for them, yeah, because the rest of the valley is...
Oh, not just valley now.
Apple hasn't either, but Apple didn't hire as many people during pandemic, so...
Yes.
Yep. You want to do a change log? Why don't we do a change log? Play that. Play the trumpets there.
The Google change log.
Somebody said I've been going too fast through the change log, so I'm going to really slow,
there's nothing good in there.
slow this down.
You're going to slow it down and drag it out? Oh, no.
Android 13.
Oh no! Stacy, go get your waffle. You got plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some waffle time.
QPR Beta 2 now available for Pixel phones. Bueller. There's a fix coming to the latest Pixel Buds A series. I feel like there's always a fix coming to the Pixel Buds series. 3.519.0 firmware update. Oh, the current one breaks Bluetooth pairing. Oh, whoops. So they're going to fix that.
Hey, why are these so bad? Why are good earbuds so hard for Google to do? I just don't get it.
The ones I got now, I like.
I never had a problem with the Series A.
Okay.
And I don't forget, I was a major complainer about the last ones. The ones now are good.
Mine have been all right too, other than I have one in a bag of rice right now because...
Whoops. Did you swallow it?
Did you eat shower with
perhaps?
I got in the shower, wasn't paying attention. I was listening to a book, and
I do that every now and then.
Don't they make waterproof ones you could wear in the shower?
Yeah, but it's only
waterproof.
You can only do so much. With that IP rate, or is it IPS rating? I don't remember what it is, but apparently it's not good enough for the shower. So one is in a bag of rice at the moment. Hopefully,
good luck. God bless. YouTube TV is losing MLB network starting today. That's kind of bad news because baseball's about to start up. Pitchers and catchers.
Tis the season.
Yeah. Starting January 31st, MLB network content will no longer be available on YouTube TV. We did mention, though, that YouTube did get the NFL Sunday ticket. So they're going to have football.
Big money.
But they could not make a deal with Major League Baseball, so the baseball channel will no longer be available. You know, they're not done. Google says we're going to continue conversations in the hope of restoring their content. Meanwhile, you'll be able to continue watching select MLB games via coverage on your local, Fox,
Locals,
ESPN,
right?
TBS. Yeah. March 30th, baseball begins. Google is hosting Google Next 2023 in August in person.
That's a weird time.
Well, it's not Google I/O. Isn't Google I/O usually earlier? But they didn't mention it.
I/O is usually in May.
Yeah.
And then they have their
this
Google
is not,
Cloud, which is Google Next.
Just Cloud, yeah.
Yeah, Google Next is usually in...
Well, this is their cloud thing. It's Cloud Next.
Cloud thing, yeah.
Yeah, it'll host an in-person event for the first time since since 2019. The 2020 event was canceled. 2021 was virtual. There was a physical component last year,
April
but not
of 2019.
widely open. Oh, okay. So things are back to normal with Moscone Center, Cloud Next 23. I've never been. Have you been to a Next? I've never been.
I have. I actually met a listener. I was in line for a thing, and someone was like, "Stacy, I watched you on This Week in Google," and I was like, "Holy moly!"
Oh, nice!
Wow,
it was very nice. Yes, they were a very nice person.
They, I guess Next will have a lot of stuff, though. Learn about the latest Google advancements in AI, data, security, productivity, and more. Explore keynotes, breakout sessions, demos, hands-on labs, training, certification opportunities on site. Hear updates on product roadmaps. Connect with Google thought leaders. There will be select Next 23 experiences online and on demand. The rumor is Google I/O will take place in May, but they haven't made an announcement yet.
Will they let the press back in?
Well, if Google Cloud Next is in person, I wonder maybe they will.
What was in person?
Cloud Next is an actual like developer focused conference. I guess I/O is too, but
that's confusing.
Cloud Next seems bigger.
Yeah, bigger than I/O, really?
Well, I mean, I'm just judging by the press events at I/O. Yeah.
Stacey, do you think Next is more customer based for cloud services?
I mean, it is more
not?
I guess I associate Next with being a larger event than I/O, but when I think about I/O, I only go to like the big first day keynote launch stuff.
Yeah, I/O journalists usually are kicked out, aren't they, after the keynote, and you have to go home? I can't remember.
No,
maybe that was Apple. That was Apple that did that. All right.
They just kicked you out, Leo.
They kicked me out. Chrome for Android is rolling out fingerprint unlock for incognito tabs.
What?
Okay.
Chrome.
Sure.
Let me parse that sentence.
You got porn on your tab, and your boss comes in. They can't find out what was on your tab unless you're there with your fingerprint held against your will.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, you could turn on a fingerprint unlock or lock. Lock incognito tabs when you leave Chrome. That'll now be a switch, and you can unlock with your fingerprint or PIN, obviously. Huh, that's nice. And here's a little public service announcement from your friends at The Verge. Gmail's new package tracking interface is live, but you have to turn it on. Did you know they were going to put a package tracking interface?
I did.
It's opt-in. So what you do here is you go to on iOS, you go to the package, you go to the data privacy menu, and there's a package tracking toggle there. Of course, data privacy, that makes sense. On Android, it's in general. Either way.
It's in general.
These change logs sure are fascinating.
Fascinating.
We can spend a lot of time on them.
Let's spend more time. Now it's time for Scooter X's change log.
Here it is.
Because we haven't had enough.
New leaked specs suggest Pixel Tablet Pro might not be a thing after all. Might not be a thing. We are going to get
X. You that's so cruel. You boost me up and let me down.
Yeah,
the same line.
He's mean. We are going to get a review copy of this just for you, Jeff, so I can talk about it. Father Robert brought it in during after CES during TWIT a few weeks ago. Acer's going to send us their new Chromebooks. These are these are nice looking devices. The Chromebook Vera 712, which is designed to be beat, up in classrooms. And then there's the top of the line, the beautiful aluminum Vero. So I think these are going to be very nice. The Vero 712, $429.
The HP
will launch in April. The model with the i3 will be $529. So there you go. They're also going to do some lower end devices. The classroom ready stuff is going to be available by the end of April as well. Let's see what else is in the Scooter X change log. Google says Lens and Maps Live View are a prelude to its long-term vision for AR. Lens and Maps Live View, a prelude to its long-term. That's when Hiroshi Lockheimer strode onto the stage at the event this morning. Apparently, even though Hiroshi was there, Jason says they only said the word Google once and they never said the word Android. So that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. Lockheimer highlighted Google Meet with live sharing for Samsung Notes and RCS and Messages. Do you still have the flip phone, Stacy? The Galaxy Flip?
I do.
Is the screen holding up and everything?
Yeah.
You like it?
It works. Yeah.
I'm thinking
I mean, I'm still using it.
So they don't do...
I'm probably going to... Go ahead.
Okay, I guess I'll talk.
I was like, no one else is frozen, but Leo's frozen.
I mean, he was legit frozen. That was impressive.
That was good.
I didn't know what to do. Now I'm melting.
I was like, dang, that's a glitch in the Matrix.
They don't usually do the folding phones till the fall, but I maybe because I'm falling for the ad campaign, but I think that actually that flip, I might get the next one when it comes out. But the main thing, of course, is the concern about the screen. But you use it, right? You open it and close it, open it and close it. Yeah, and it survives.
I mean, I think I use my phone a normal amount or an abnormal amount. I probably pick it up 20 or 30 times a day.
Good. That's good to know.
In the hospital, I saw a guy using it to do a video call.
I think it's cool because you can leave it there unfolded, half folded, right on the table. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe.
You know, I don't do that.
Oh, okay.
I guess I could, but.
Chromecast with Google TV 4K gets its first update of 2023. Google's reportedly testing an alternate homepage with ChatGPT style Q&A prompts. So that's from The Verge confirming what we thought. Project Bard. I think that's it.
Riveting.
Yes, that was great.
One more. This I saw this. It concerned me a little bit.
Don't want it to end too soon.
No. We love the changelog. Google Fi says hackers accessed customer information. There was a data breach likely related to the security incident at T-Mobile, according to TechCrunch. T-Mobile lost a significant, I think, was it 17 million customer records? In the email sent to customers on Monday, which I have not received, but a couple of people yesterday said they had. Google said the primary network provider for Google Fi recently informed the company there had been suspicious activity relating to a third-party support system containing a limited amount of Google Fi customer data. Of course, Google Fi rides on T-Mobile, so it makes sense that this would be an issue with T-Mobile's hack. Google said hackers did not take customers' personal information, payment card data, passwords, PINs, or even the contents of text messages or calls. While some emails said there's no action required, at least one Google Fi customer said in a Reddit post that their phone number had been briefly hijacked, SIM swapped, for 2 hours. So that's something to be aware of. I've always felt fairly secure with my Google Fi phone number. I use that for most of my two-factor. When they say you got to have a phone number for that, I use the Google Fi number, not the T-Mobile number. But now I'm starting to think, oh. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the Google changelog.
Oh, we hardly knew you, changelog.
That was a quickie.
You're over so soon.
So soon. Is there anything?
Who is it who gives you such stuff about changelog?
Oh, random listeners.
Just random,
people who really care about the changelog.
I get email. I get a lot of email. I get feedback via email. Thank you, everybody.
Do you care about is this the democracy segment?
Yeah.
Do you care about Artifact? Kevin Systrom's new thing?
Yeah, so the founders of Instagram have started something new, which I immediately, of course, and I'm sure you did too, asked for admission to, but you know, it's not open to the public yet. It's called Artifact, and the idea is it is a AI curated news, which I don't honestly know how that's different from everything else.
I'm not sure either.
That's
Mike
out
McHugh and what's his name? Who invented the hashtag?
Chris Messina.
Chris Messina. We're just in a discussion on Mastodon about it.
So Mike McHugh is a Flipboard guy, right?
Founder of Flipboard. Yeah.
So he has some interest in this.
A little Flipboardy. Yep.
Yeah. Here's the post. Excited to announce what Kevin and I have been working on with a talented team the past year. Artifact, a personalized news feed driven by the latest in artificial intelligence. Have you gotten an invite yet, Jeff?
Nope.
Sometimes I feel like these people just had one good idea and now they're just like Silicon Valley is full of people who had one good idea. They managed to make it scale and then they give them money the next time the big idea comes around to give them something that, like, I don't know.
I feel
this
that way.
is just my skepticism.
Exactly.
One person, Ev Williams, is the person who's done it 3 times.
Medium
so
was
he's
Medium a
legit
huge
good.
success?
No, but it's still alive.
It's still there, yeah.
Tony Sobelbein's now the CEO.
He's not dead yet.
Not dead yet. Spotify,
You can
among
see.
many tech companies, doing big layoffs, including their head of podcasting. Whoops.
Oh, what do we think of that?
Whoops.
Little
Dawn
gleeful,
Ostroff. Well,
head-rubbing
I don't know. This is Daniel X email or blog post. As part of this change, Dawn Ostroff has decided to depart Spotify. Dawn made
Maybe
a tremendous
they're just,
mark
like,
not only on
not giving
Spotify.
them any money anymore.
Yeah, right. If you're not going to pay me, I guess I'll quit. Dawn has made a tremendous mark not only on Spotify but in the audio industry overall. Because of her efforts, Spotify grew our podcast content by 40 times. 40 times 0 is still 0, so it must have had some. Drove significant innovation in the medium and became the leading music and podcast service in many markets. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks to her work, Spotify was able to innovate on the ads format itself and more than double the revenue of our advertising business to... How much do you think Spotify makes on ads?
No.
They spend a lot. Do they make?
1.5 billion euros.
Jeez.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, good.
Whoa is right. That's like twice what we make.
Where's Ant's coffee machine then?
Yeah. Don will, in the near term, Don will assume the role of senior advisor to help facilitate this transition. Yeah.
So do you think there'll be media stories now saying, "Oh, podcasting is dead because Spotify is tired"?
Yeah, yes, of course, that's exactly how the media
There were
would react.
media. I mean, there were stories earlier that podcasting had hit a bump in the road. So
yeah, there was
podcasting winter, as it were.
There was a story that last year, something like 80% fewer new podcasts were launched, which, as far as I'm concerned, is great. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Stop launching those podcasts. When they also, another thing they've learned, and Spotify has learned this, but others like iHeart have learned it better. These celebrity podcasts are not a panacea. You know, just because you've got a big name doing a podcast, you get some initial interest, but it does not mean long-term listenership. On the other hand, I think Joe Rogan is a good percentage of that 1.5 billion euros. He's been very successful for Spotify.
Was it advertising or is it subscription fees that he drives?
Ads are like $1 million on Joe Rogan. They're very expensive.
Geez.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Why do you want to talk to those guys that much? Do they buy that much stuff?
They buy pickup trucks with false gonads in the back. I don't know.
You mean those little swinging metal?
Yeah. Right.
No, I don't think. I think Joe's audience is young men, and advertisers are desperate to get young men because they're not traditional media consumers. So if that's the only way they can reach him, that's where Joe's going to make a lot of money. I'm sure that was the logic anyway behind it.
Yeah.
Men like 18 to 25 humans 18 to 25 are notoriously hard to reach in traditional media. They don't watch TV. They don't buy magazines. They barely see billboards. They don't listen to the radio. So podcasts are sometimes the
billboards.
They go whizzing by them at high speed. Hey, everybody. Leo Laporte here. I am the founder and one of the hosts at the Twit Podcast Network. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do here at Twit because I think it's unique. And I think for anybody who is bringing a product or a service to a tech audience, you need to know about what we do here at Twit. We've built an amazing audience of engaged, intelligent, affluent listeners who listen to us and trust us when we recommend a product. Our mission statement as Twit is to build a highly engaged community of tech enthusiasts. Well, already your ears should be perking up at that because highly engaged is good for you. Tech enthusiasts, if that's who you're looking for, this is the place. We do it by offering them the knowledge they need to understand and use technology in today's world. And I hear from our audience all the time, part of that knowledge comes from our advertisers. We are very careful. We pick advertisers with great products, great services, with integrity, and introduce them to our audience with authenticity and genuine enthusiasm. And that makes our host-read ads different from anything else you can buy. We are literally bringing you to the attention of our audience and giving you a big, fat endorsement. We like to create partnerships with trusted brands who are in it for the long run, long-term partners that want to grow with us. And we have so many great success stories. Tim Broom, who founded IT Pro TV in 2013, started advertising with us on day one, has been with us ever since. He said, quote, "We would not be where we are today without the Twit network." I think the proof is in the pudding. Advertisers like IT Pro TV and Audible that have been with us for more than 10 years, they stick around because their ads work. And honestly, isn't that why you're buying advertising? You get a lot with Twit. We have a very full service attitude. We almost think of it as kind of artisanal advertising, boutique advertising. You'll get a full service continuity team. People who are on the phone with you, who are in touch with you, who support you with everything from copywriting to graphic design. So you are not alone in this. We embed our ads into the shows. They're not added later. They're part of the shows. In fact, often they're such a part of our shows that our other hosts will chime in on the ad saying, "Yeah, I love that." Or just the other day, one of our hosts said, "Man, I really got to buy that." That's an additional benefit to you because you're hearing people our audience trusts saying, "Yeah, that sounds great." We always over-deliver on impressions, so you know you're going to get the impressions you expect. The ads are unique every time. We don't pre-record them and roll them in. We are genuinely doing those ads in the middle of the show. We'll give you great onboarding services. Ad tech with pod sites that's free for direct clients. Gives you a lot of reporting, gives you a great idea of how well your ads are working. You'll get courtesy commercials. You actually can take our ads and share them across social media and landing pages. That really extends the reach. There are other free goodies too, including mentions in our weekly newsletter that's sent to thousands of fans, engaged fans who really want to see this stuff. We give you bonus ads and social media promotion too. So if you want to be a long-term partner, introduce your product to a savvy, engaged tech audience. Visit twit.tv/advertise. Check out those testimonials. Mark McCrary is the CEO of Authentic. You probably know him, one of the biggest original podcast advertising companies. We've been with him for 16 years. Mark said the feedback from many advertisers over 16 years across a range of product categories, everything from razors to computers, is that if ads and podcasts are going to work for a brand, they're going to work on Twitch shows. I'm very proud of what we do because it's honest, it's got integrity, it's authentic, and it really is a great introduction to our audience of your brand. Our listeners are smart, they're engaged, they're tech savvy, they're dedicated to our network, and that's one of the reasons we only work with high integrity partners that we've personally and thoroughly vetted. I have absolute approval on everybody. If you've got a great product, I want to hear from you. Elevate your brand by reaching out today at advertise@twit.tv. Break out of the advertising norm. Grow your brand with host-read ads on twit.tv. Visit twit.tv/advertise for more details, or you can email us advertise@twit.tv if you're ready to launch your campaign now. I can't wait to see your product. So give us a ring. All right. I'm done. I don't have anything else to say. Let's do our picks of the week and move on with our lives. What do you say, Stacy?
I'm always for it.
What's your thing of the week?
Sorry. Today I've been like so sleepy and cranky. Good Lord. All right. My thing of the week is a book because I was playing with the device that I was going to tell you about it and I hate it. I hate this device. I'm not telling you about it.
This is people. No. I don't mind saying something's terrible because we often only review the good stuff, and people start to think you like everything. It's good to warn people away.
Well, I
from
will
something
tell you. You know
that's
those
crap.
smart goggles. I sent the smart goggles that I was talking about back. Just so y'all know,
smart goggles.
Or smart glasses, the Therabody smart glasses.
Oh,
I showed them off a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
I said I told y'all that I was probably going to send them back, but I did send them back. So
Didn't
good return
change your
policy.
life. Didn't improve your life.
It did nothing for us, and it actively annoyed my teenager.
The idea is you put it on and it would massage your eyes.
It had a heart rate sensor in the glasses that would also try to match the massage to your heart rate.
Oh dear.
To help relax you more. I don't know. Anyway.
You know what? I like the
this-
$10 I spent on that thing that you put in the refrigerator and then put on your head. That
was just silly. That wasn't even a review.
But that was a good buy. A lot better than a $200 eyeball massager.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I guess at one point in time, I was really desperate for a thing, so I told somebody about the OXO brush thing with the little stand that I had.
Yeah.
And 2 people emailed me and said they bought it and they loved it. So I was like, well, I'm glad.
You should
But this time I'm gonna
never
recommend a book.
judge people. Lisa tweeted a picture of me, or Mastodon tweeted a picture of me wearing it, and there were all these people saying, "What is that? I must have it." So
There you go.
I think it's genuine. I think it's real. Yeah.
So this week I'm giving y'all a book because I read a lot. But I really liked this book, and I liked it. And y'all are kind of nerdy. It's not a science fiction book, but it has some things that we like. And it's called The Sorcerer of Pyongyang. Is that how we would say the North Korean capital?
Yeah.
And it's really, there's no magic in this book. It's about a boy in North Korea who finds a Dungeons and Dragons book in like the 80s. And then he plays it with, basically, that is a thinly used plot device to hinge an entire story about what it was like to grow up in North Korea in the last
fascinated
30 years, which is really fascinating. And so,
do you think
this
Thoreau
covers
knows
everything.
what it was like, though? I mean, what's his?
No,
does the
he
author
did a
know?
lot of research. He also wrote a book called Far North, I believe.
Yes. Very, very.
Oh, but that is not. Yeah.
Oh, it says here,
Anyway.
drawing on the author's personal experience of North Korea. So I guess he has spent some time there. The Sorcerer of Pyongyang.
But it's really well done. And it's like, I don't read a lot about North Korea.
You don't?
So I know. I mean, it's
I've read
shocking.
like 3 or 4 books about it. It's just,
Yeah. So I'd be curious if people actually have a much, I love entering new cultures through the medium of fiction just
Yes,
because
I agree.
it's a little less like, I feel like you get a more sense of like, especially if it's written by someone from that culture. This is obviously not that. You get a little bit more of a flavor. Like that's why I liked reading like The 3-Body Problem, because it gave me I felt like an insight into what it would be like to be not an individualistic
you've summoned
society.
Jammer B with that one.
I know. Anyway, the point is, I really liked this book. It was engaging. It taught me, or it talks actually about the hacking armies, like the people who, anyway, like North Korea's ransomware and revenue generation through ransomware and hacking and other special ways that they generate revenue despite sanctions. And also I played D&D as a kid, and, it was
Nice.
pretty magic for me growing up. And
Maybe
there's
a
little about it.
future Stacy's book club selection.
There's not any
not
sci-fi. in
sci-fi.
it. It's not sci-fi. It's just a novel.
Stacy's book club, which is coming up March 30th, is the book you've chosen. The book.
Wait, we've chosen the book, and we may have to change the date because I think I have to give a talk on the 29th.
We could do that. That's far enough
Okay.
away. The book, though, and you might want to get started, is Emily St. John Mandel's Sea of Tranquility.
It's fairly short, I believe. So you got some time.
Yeah, it's 5 hours,
I'm like-
47 minutes if you listen to it. That's not bad. Good narrator,
Oh,
too. I love
okay,
John
good.
Lee. Yeah. Nice.
It's a beautiful book.
If you're not a member of
It
Club
is kinda
Twit,
literary.
this is one of the many wonderful reasons to join Club Twit. We've actually got some events coming up Win2 Dao, the host of All About Android, will be on February 9th, a week from tomorrow, for a fireside chat. Then the next day, Daniel Suarez, who is the author of many great books, including Demon and Freedom TM, his new book, Critical Mass, just came out yesterday. I started reading it. I'm excited. He's going to be our guest on February 10th for a triangulation, but club members will get special access. They'll be able to ask questions and so forth. Sam Abul Samad's coming up, the book club, and Victor, one of our great editors, longtime employee, is going to do a chat. We've been doing some behind the scenes, meeting some of the behind the scenes people. That's all coming up. Thanks to Ant, our club community manager and ringleader. If you're not a member of Club Twit, now's the time. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit and sign up today. $7 a month, $84 a year, or you can get a corporate membership for everybody in your company. You'll get ad-free versions of all the shows, including this one. You get special shows we don't put out on the Twit Plus feed in public. For instance, Hands on Macintosh with Micah Sargent, Hands on Windows with Paul Thurrott, Untitled Linux Show with Jonathan Bennett. You also get access to the Discord, which is so much fun. Just love all the folks in the Discord. We have so much fun. And Stacy's in there and Jeff's in there. And we're just having a good old time.
Lots of memes.
There's lots of fun people, and we're in there too.
And it's a pleasure in there. I hang out in the club all the time. I love it. Twit.tv/clubtwit. Join us. Jeff Jarvis number. Wow, here's a new one. We've got a moral panic GIF with your old picture.
I'm going to steal that one. Thank you very much.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. It's a sticker.
The next book.
It's a sticker in the server. Everybody can use it now.
Oh, man.
That's a good picture of you. That's awesome.
Is that the one you bought? No.
It looks like the one I bought. It's roughly that time frame.
I love it.
Looks like an AI generated version.
Ooh.
Anyway.
All right, so I've got a number, a Stacy bait.
Stacy bait.
A what?
Stacy bait.
Stacy bait. I thought you said a Stacy bake. I was like, is it a waffle?
Stacy bake oven. Appliance makers sad that 50% of customers won't connect their smart appliances.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last week on the show. It's up. It's up a lot. Just so you know.
Oh, really? Who buys a smart device and doesn't put it on the internet?
Well, because they're all smart now.
I don't. Yeah, they're all smart. I have two large appliances, an oven and a washing machine that are internet connected, but I have only connected the oven and not the washing machine.
Right.
So I fit this stat perfectly.
Even Stacy, they cried deep tears over that. Huh. So that was one. And the other one is a little TikTok corner moment. I have found my spirit animal.
Team dog?
I'm on team dog here. My spirit animal. You'll see what I mean.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, I give you team dog. He's walking like an Egyptian. I can't play the music. If I could, I would. He's now going to cross the bridge. Oh, no, he's not going to cross the bridge. He says, no bridges.
Smart dog. Who's a smart dog?
No bridges.
Who knows?
No, that you wouldn't be afraid of that bridge, would you, Jeff? Little plank bridge across a ravine? No. Oh, that dog really doesn't want to go.
Oh, poor Pooch.
Oh.
Buddy, you're going to feel so much better when it's done. I promise.
Oh, poor little doggy.
That dog just dug in.
He says, I ain't going.
No, don't do it. No, you don't pet me. It doesn't matter. I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to go across this bridge.
Mr. Ant Pruitt, what should we give? What plugs would you like to give?
My plug is I watched a movie here recently. Critics hated it and the audience hated it. And I guess I get it. But at the same time, it made me reflect. And it's a movie called You People. It's on Netflix.
I like the name.
I wanted to hear about this one.
Yeah.
Featuring, what's his name? Jonah
Hill.
Yeah. Jonah Hill. And I believe the other lady, her last name is London. And I thought it was okay, but it points out with the two of them being in an interracial relationship, and she has a Muslim background, he has a Jewish background, and the families meet and all of the tropes and stuff that comes along with that. But at the same time, it made me think about some of my past experiences, actually as recent as 2020, in 2019, where I pretty much was tokenized at times by people that I thought were my friends. And it didn't hit me until
not here,
later.
I
No,
hope.
not here. By people that I thought were my friends. And just that movie just reminded me of it. And it made me think how there are a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum where we go in with assumptions.
So when I introduce you to my friends as my black friend, you don't like that?
Yeah, we're going to fight. I'll just go ahead and let you know right now.
Oh,
Okay?
I was like,
You've been warned.
I'd like to introduce you to my black friend and my Jewish friend.
Right.
I don't
Right.
do that.
But
of
it
course.
goes over some stuff
Just
like
look
that. And I
Jewish.
thought they did a good job of at least putting it out there and trying to
You
have
people's
some
got-
fun with it.
It's the perfect name for that, isn't it?
It is.
Mhm.
Perfect title.
You people.
And I read through a lot of the critics and the audience's comments there on Rotten Tomatoes, and it just fascinates me how people were so upset about this movie. And then I looked at it and I was like, yep, this person is white and totally don't have that same perspective that I would have as someone that lived it.
All right. I'm going to watch it knowing that I'm going to put
Yeah, I will
myself
too
in
now.
your shoes and watch it with that in mind.
Is it a comedy? A comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Tells the
It's
truth.
a comedy.
it's like Eddie Murphy's in
And
it.
Eddie Murphy's in it.
It's got an amazing cast.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's done serious or action stuff.
Oh,
But
I love, what? Eddie's back. He's done some great stuff. What was that?
Yeah, he was good in this one.
Yeah,
He
good.
He
All
was
right.
good in this one.
Good.
Oh, you know what? We forgot something, Leo.
What's
We were
that?
going to mention. Oh, I didn't. You weren't done with your things. I'm sorry.
When it's
No,
done,
what
we'll
is that?
mention that.
What?
Just Glenn Fleischman. We'll do more next week.
Yeah.
Shift happens. Next week
That's
we'll do it.
right, Mr.
That's
Fleischman.
In fact, we
That's
should
when the,
get, if you
campaign
could
is
get
open.
Jason, if you can
Glenn?
get Glenn on the show next week, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Just to talk
That'd be
about
great.
it. Doesn't have to be for the whole show. It can be.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I don't think
Now-
Stacey. Well, you met Glenn in person, but you haven't been on the show with him. At the same
They haven't been together because he
No,
usually.
No, have
we
not.
They might
like
be the
fire
same
and
person.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Glenn and I. Let me tell you about my new fonts.
There's an AI.
Well, he is your neighbor. I mean, he lives in the Seattle area, so
He's-
you should get to know him. He's great. I love
Across a
Glenn.
body of water. I do know him.
Oh, never
Yeah, they
mind.
met in person.
I've known Glenn for years.
What do you know?
Now, Ant is mad as HE double hockey sticks, and he's not going to take it anymore.
No, I'm not. And this is, I've spoken offline to some folks about this here recently, but I'm campaigning, if you will, and I'm campaigning for my son. The picture there that you have on the screen, it reads that he is the back of the year. He's first team this and honorable mention that and so on and so forth. And you've seen me share highlights of him
He's amazing.
throughout the season.
Yeah.
His very first playoff football game, he had 7 dadgum touchdowns. And he
Jeez,
does
7.
not have one scholarship offer as of yet.
What?
Yet
could
his
that be?
teammates, yet there's a teammate that has a scholarship offer, but he does not. And it pisses me off because this is me taking dad out. Okay. I know this kid works really, really hard. I know this kid has a GPA of like 4.2.
Wow.
I know this kid is loved in the community. I go out and people recognize me because, it's not a lot of black people here. Oh, yeah, your son's a quarterback and he's so great. And he come in and he helped us do this and blah. He's a good kid. And it sort of bugs me that there's people out there in this world that are always trying to do the right thing and do the good thing. And they tend to come up short for whatever reason. Yet there's idiots out there and evil people out there and that just get away with stuff and half-ass things and don't work hard and they end up being gazillionaires or just skirting rules and all of that. And that just pisses me off. So again, I am just campaigning for my boy because I can't afford to pay for college, but I know he wants to go to college and he deserves to go to college. And football is one way in addition to his brain and track and so forth. So Jacob Pruitt, I'm campaigning for you, boy. I've told him personally.
That is a proud dad.
I'm going to.
For your consideration, Jacob Pruitt.
He's the next Patrick Mahomes. Guys, get in there and get him while you can.
Yeah,
Look at
watch
that
this
kid.
one. Watch this
Look
one.
at this
Watch
kid.
this.
Oh, my goodness. He's got legs.
Just watch
Holy
that.
cow.
You know,
Outrunning
that's
them
just
all.
80 yards.
Oh, they must hate him.
That's just 80 yards.
Oh,
you know, no big
God,
deal.
what are you going to do with a guy who
Man,
can
this
throw?
is a laser.
He can
laser
run.
of a throw.
He can. Oh my goodness.
You know, and he's had some visitors from some scouts here recently, but these scouts, is nice, but hey, show me the money. I'm just gonna say it like that. Show me the money. Say it.
College scholarships are, it's a being in the biz. The corruption of it is we raise money to pay to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even pay it to Jacob.
Right.
The college pays themselves so Jacob can go there and work for the college.
Right.
Look at
Really?
that throw.
No,
Look at
because
that
the
throw.
money that they raise from alumni for their football programs is very important. I know the
Don't
CUNY
blink right
football
here.
team is amazing, Jeff.
Well,
Don't blink.
Whoa, look at him. He is so fast.
God.
He's just outrunning everybody. Look at him go. Zip,
Don't blink.
zip.
He's gone.
You even lost track of him. Where'd he go? That's great.
So-
That
My
is
kid.
awesome.
You
Look
know,
at it.
so
He's got an
again,
arm,
and yeah,
too.
What an
then
arm.
Look
What
at
They'll
an
want to
arm.
throw the whole, he's a dual, they call it dual threat quarterback, which means he's a quarterback that can run
pass.
but can't necessarily throw. But yet I'm looking at touchdown passes right here.
Yeah. Well, you've made a
Didn't-
heck of a
and didn't he
reel.
step in as quarterback when another kid got injured, right?
Right. He came in because the senior quarterback got hurt. And because he was totally fine not competing for that role because the senior quarterback was pretty daggum good. And we said, you know what, it's fine. Your time is coming. Just go contribute somewhere else. Because, by the way, he's a team player. He wanted to be on the field and contribute in other ways. So
When does the season for getting these scholarships end? I mean, is it,
it's nonstop, man.
Okay,
It's
so it's not
signing day
over.
is today. Yeah, signing day is today.
Okay.
But right now you got to get your name out there because the transfer portal, the transfer portal has changed things. It made it more difficult because colleges are just going to other colleges
Right.
and getting players
Right.
instead of going to
Where
high
does he
schools.
want to go to college? Where does he want to go to school?
Now, let's
He
name
would
check some
love to be
colleges.
an Oregon Duck, but he would love to play pretty much in a lot of the teams in the Pac-12 because they offer the education that he wants.
He's smart. He's a scholar athlete. He doesn't want to just be a football
Right.
player.
What does he want to study?
He's wanting to get more into art and design.
Good.
Because, yes, he's a model now.
He's gorgeous,
And
I know.
He's into fashion. So he has
Good
a
for
sewing
him.
machine here. He'll sew things together. And
What a cool kid.
He'll make his own damn uniform.
if
Give
I
him
had
a
a
scholarship.
If I
so
had a
again,
college, I
I'm
would
campaigning for
Jeez
my
Louise.
boy.
As
Yeah.
well you should, Proud Papa.
Good for you.
As well you
We'll
should.
support you on that. How could people?
appreciate
What should
that.
people do? How can they reach you? Just go look at your Twitter, right, and respond.
Just go follow my Twitter because my Twitter has now been dedicated to campaigning him. You don't
If you're
see
a college
anything on there
football
about me.
fan and you know people, then
Yeah, contact.
boost this.
Be a good booster. Get somebody good for your college team. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
we'll
you,
try
thank
to
you.
we'll try to get Glenn Fleischman on. Glenn has talked about this before, but he's working with a guy named Martian Wishari, who is doing a book. It'll be a Kickstarter in a couple of weeks about keyboards called Shift Happens, and he just sent both Jeff and me a preliminary
title.
promo version. Isn't that
Right.
great? Shift Happens.
This is just this was the proof, the printing proof
It looks
test.
so beautiful.
It's the beautiful pages,
Yeah,
beautiful
thank
paper.
you, Glenn. And we'll get Glenn on, but and we'll also, of course, when that Kickstarter starts, that'll be our pick of the week for that week for sure. We are out of time, but we're not out of waffles, and that's the good news. Stacy Higginbotham. Stacy on IoT.com is the website. The podcast she does with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast, is available there. There's also events there. Check them out.
There it is.
Lots of other stuff. She is amazing.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you, Stacy, for being here. We really appreciate it.
And grumpy. Amazing and grumpy.
You weren't
Today
grumpy
was-
seem
today.
grumpy at all. I don't
You've
know what
been
you're talking
far
about.
grumpier. You were not
It's
grumpy.
so
grumpier.
much
Okay, well-
worse. I don't know why you think you're grumpy. Jeff Jarvis, who is eternally grumpy, is the director.
Yeah, that's my department.
He's the grump
Well-
himself. Director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. If you had a football team, what would their mascot? What would they be called? The ink-stained wretches.
Yes.
That'd be good.
The Gutenbergs.
The Gutenbergs.
The Gutenbergs.
Mr. Ant Pruitt. He is on Twitter, Ant_Pruitt, but you should also go to his website, antpruitt.com, and take a look at his beautiful prints. He's an amazing photographer, and that's why he's the host of Hands-On Photography, twit.tv/HOP.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Have a little Abalura Budna for me tonight.
Abalauer, sir.
Abalauer. A Budna for me tonight.
Good old single malt scotch.
Yeah, baby. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do Twig This Week in Google every Wednesday afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. You can watch us do it live.twit.tv. Chat with us while you're watching at irc.twit.tv or in our Club Twit Discord. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show are available at the website, twit.tv/twig. Or you can get it on YouTube. There's a dedicated YouTube channel for all of our shows. Actually, the best place to start is at youtube.com/twit, and you can follow the breadcrumbs from there. You can also subscribe in your favorite podcast player. It's probably the best way to get This Week in Google. That way you'll get it every Wednesday evening, the minute it's available. Thanks all for joining us. We will see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Do you want to hear about the latest news happening in the tech world from the people who write the articles, sometimes from the people who are actually making the news? Well, we got a show for you here at twit.tv. It's called Tech News Weekly. Me, Jason Howell, and my co-host Micah Sargent, we talk with some amazing people each and every Thursday on Tech News Weekly, and we share a little bit of our own insights in each of us bringing a story of the week. That's at twit.tv/TNW. Subscribe right now.